Warning: Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Because of some statements I made concerning the President of the United States, which were distorted. They were distorted. And yes. And
what did you say, Malcolm?
Well, I said the same thing that everybody says, that his assassination was the result of the climate of hate. But only I said the chickens came home to roost, and which means the same thing. Climate of hate means that this is the result of something. And when I said chickens coming home to roost, I said the same thing.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like, share, and if you're catching this on the replay, that hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as hitting the other link in the description, joining the Telegram group in order to help circumvent some of the shadow banning that PukeTube have been doing to the new Blacc Media as of recently. With that being said, family and friends, I'd like to welcome you back into the church. The doors are now open. We got a few things to discuss here. And I'm going to go ahead and take the time right now to give my salutes and shaloms. So let me scroll on up and give a B1 salute and shalom to a law solution in the building. Much love to you, family, and thank you for being here. And I appreciate you for sending me those emails. We're going to be discussing some of those topics pretty damn soon. Shout out to you, my warrior brother, and shout out to the Chi-Town in the building. Much love. Shout out to our good brother, Jesse Paris, in the building, as well as Frontline News. If you're not subscribed, go check our brother out. Our sister, Full Armor of Yah, shout out to you, my warrior sister. Shalom to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your email. I did see it on my way, setting things up for today's broadcast, and so I'll be responding right after this. Shout out to you. Christian Wright is in the building. Much love to you. Our good brother Zavon Scott is in the building. Much love to you. Marilyn Brown is in the building. Shout out. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. G Nimp in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Our good brother Blacc RU is in the building. Shout out to you and much love. Thank you for being here, my warrior brother. And let me also give you a B1 salute for your Cash App donation yesterday. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. And let me also, because a lot of you, there was a few people that just shot a couple of Cash Apps yesterday, and I want to give you guys some love. A B1 salute to Frederick Bean 2 times for both of your Cash App donations. Much love to you. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution, family. As well as Gerard Johnson, shout out to you and much love. Thank you for your donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. And shout out to our good brother Black Truth United in the building. Much love to you, my warrior brother. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my warrior brother. Our sister Val Hawkins is in the building. Much love to you, my sister, as well as our sister Patricia A. Jones in the building. Shalom to both of you, and thank you both for being here. Summer Breeze is in the place to bees. Much love to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Zoo Tours in the building, as well as our good brother Reparations Nation in the building. Shout out to the both of you, and thank you for being here. A McMill in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. A goddess is in the building. A goddess Neve, is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Our good brother Damian Reeves is in the building. Shout out to you, and thank you for being here as well, my warrior brother. Lover of Truth is in the building. Much love to you, as well as our sister Queen Shabbat in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well, my sister. Our sister Astarte Jones is in the building. Shout out to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our good brother RBJ and Robert Taylor in the building. Shout out to you both, and thank you both for being here. Shalom to you both. Cultural Superpower is in the building, my warrior sister. Thank you for being here, as well as Nova Wave Radio. Shout out to you, and thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Much love to you. And our sister Only Pamela's Way just popped in as well. Shout out to you, my dear sister, and thank you for being here. Now, family, today I have a special guest here with me. And, you know, he's my brother. He's your brother. And I asked him here today because our good brother is going to be running. Well, he's in the midst of running for the 2026 Colorado House of Representatives District 6. And I want to go here. Give me 1 second before we bring our good brother up. Let's go here. Shout out to our sister C. Terry in the building.
Denver used to feel more like home. Now, longtime Black residents are being priced out, pushed out, and ignored. While politicians talk, the community keeps losing ground. That's why Jesse Paris is stepping up. Not to play politics, not to bow down, but to fight for the people. Fight against displacement, demand accountability in public safety, and stand for Black Denverites whose voices have been overlooked for too long. Representation should mean something. Jesse Paris, Colorado House District 8. Representation that won't back down. Vote Jesse Paris, Unity Party of Colorado. Denver used to feel more like home.
Okay. All right, family. Shout out. And I want you all to put your hands together. I'll do it digitally. Don't worry, family. Shout out. And as I bring up our warrior brother, Jesse Paris in the building, shout out to our good brother in the building.
Certified salute, church.
Certified salute, my brother. It's been a long time coming.
Yes,
it's been a long time coming. So, first and foremost, I'll give you a few seconds to tell everybody about your platform, and then I'll go into asking some questions.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, my name is Jesse LaShawn Paris. I am a Denver native. I've been here for 30 plus years, and my platform is a Black First agenda. This is actually my 4th time running for political office. This is my 2nd time running for the seat, and I want to do what's best for Black Denverites, specifically FBA Denverites, because we are being maligned, neglected, disenfranchised, displaced, gentrified out of our communities. The neighborhood I'm in right now is 5 Points, historically Black district, historically Black area of town, East Denver, and we cannot afford to live here anymore. Colorado, Denver is not affordable, and I've been stressing since 2016 that we need attainable and affordable housing, not affordable, but attainable housing, accessible housing that people can actually afford to live in. I was unhoused myself for a number of years, So I can relate to those that are on the street and those that are not on the streets. And I've dedicated at least 10 years of my life to advocating for those of our unhoused neighbors, which is my term because I said they were unhoused, but they're still part of the community. I've been attending city council meetings for a decade plus now, giving them that work every Monday consistently for a decade. And I just want to do what's best for our people in the city and the state. This city and the state has neglected us. We have been influential in building both the city of Denver and the state of Colorado, and they have put us at the back burner. They have put us on the back seat. They put illegal immigrants ahead of us, LGBTQ ahead of us, humpback whales, gray wolves, you name it, like Dr. Claude Anderson said. And we're just not going to do it no more. This is historically Black seat up until recently, and we need to reclaim that seat. Previous to me, the candidates that were in the seat, they were Black women, and we need a strong Black male voice in the state house here in Colorado. That's not going to take no for an answer, and it's going to do what is in the best interest of the Black Denverites.
All
Justin
right.
Harris for House District 8. The election is November 5th. Excuse me, November 3rd, 2026.
All right. Shout out to you, my warrior brother. Now, I heard you mention that at one point you were unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me, how have that situation affected your policy and the way that you're thinking about your platform moving forward?
Well, for starters, Church, when I first ran for office in 2019, which was for city council at large, where I got almost 15,000 votes with no money, I was on a housing first platform. I wanted to get our unhoused neighbors off the streets. I wanted to commandor the abandoned buildings that we have here in Denver, these motels, hotels, motels that we had abandoned here in Denver, and put our unhoused neighbors in them. So my fingerprints are all over the housing first model here in Colorado. The housing first model is we put you in housing first, and then we put wraparound services around you. I've been a client of CCH, which is Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, for over a decade now. And if it was up to the city of Denver, I would still be unhoused. I thank the Lord that I have somebody that advocated on my behalf back in 2020 to get me off the streets. And while I got myself off the streets, I got Lady Che off the streets and 8 other people, Black people. And to my knowledge and best of my ability, they are still. So I'm not just talking about what I'm going to do. I've been doing this before I had the job title of a politician. I've been a public servant for over a decade, doing what's in our best interest.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, my brother, especially hearing that you actually been putting in the footwork to do things that you already, this is what your platform is you're running on, but you've already been doing these things before you even decided, hey, it's time for me to take this to a stage. So I'm very happy to hear about that. And I'm very happy to hear that our good brother was not just able to get himself off the streets, but several other people. So that is always a good thing to hear, family. In your district, I believe the incumbent representative at the time is Lindsay Gilchrist.
Gilchrist, yeah.
Gilchrist. And then the Republican who's running against her is Caroline Barnes.
Correct. But I ain't never seen that broad.
You never seen
I don't even know who Lindsay Gilchrist is, honestly, because we only see her once or twice a year. So I don't know what she's been doing in the state house. She's been in office for 2 years. She only passed, co-sponsored 4 bills. None of them are specifically for Black people. So she's been missing MIA.
So, and she's the incumbent.
Yes.
Interesting. So what would you do differently from, let's say, what Lindsay has done in her time as the incumbent representative?
I'm glad you asked, brother. So I am currently working on getting us reparations here in the state of Colorado. We have a racial equity study that is underway right now that they're actually making us fund, which is just a shame in itself. But I've been attending every one of those meetings. So I have reparations on my platform, direct lineage cash payment reparations for American freedmen, for foundational Black Americans descendants from Mississippi, Denver rights. So I've been doing that. That's one thing. So definitely lineage-based cash payment reparations. First things first. Then an anti-Black, anti-FBA hate crime bill. I was influential in getting what is it called? The end of qualified immunity here in the state of Colorado. I would like to see an end of qualified immunity in all 50 states. But here in Colorado, I've been at the forefront of getting police accountability, citizen oversight, all of that. I serve on a Reimagining Police and Public Safety Task Force. I've been on that board since its inception, which was actually a year after George Floyd was killed. And we had, as y'all know, if you didn't know, we had some of the biggest protests in the nation here in Denver behind George Floyd. I was also at the forefront of getting some justice for Elijah McClain and his family, which I know them personally, especially the grandmother. Shout out to her, Linda. And so I would sponsor a bill for reparations, of course. Definitely a bill for anti-Black, anti-FBA hate crime, and more police oversight. If it was up to me, I would abolish the police, but it's not up to me. It's up to the voters of Denver to overturn the charter, which says that we have to have a police force. So if I could snap my fingers, I would do away with the police. But this is not a perfect world. We're striving to replace this global system of racism and white supremacy with a system of justice, which guarantees that nobody's mistreated. But I am beyond sick and tired of our people being neglected and forgotten, especially since we built this country, this state, and this city. I hope that answers your question.
No, it absolutely does. I apologize. I was looking at my next question here. So you have a total population of about 90,000 people in the district in which you're running for.
Correct.
Right? And 61% of it is white Americans. 15.6% of it is Black Americans. 11% of it is multiracial. 7% identified as some other race. 2% is Asian. 1% is American Indian. 0.1% is Native Hawaiian.
That sounds right. Sorry, I bring up cut you off, but they have redistricted my district.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They redistricted my district, so they're gerrymandering. So the district, it used to be specifically to a certain area where we resided, where Black people resided in East Denver. So the East Side, we call it the East Side. It's several neighborhoods, about 6 neighborhoods combined, and then there's Park Hill, which is split up in the north and south. And it's always been segregated since the 1970s. And then we got Central Park, which used to be the airport, Stapleton, which was named after a Klans member, by the way. They changed that to Central Park. We actually have to fight them to change that name from Stapleton to Central Park. So that's part of my district. And then they extended it actually out further. So I'm like on the border of Aurora. So my district has expanded since the redistricting that they did in 2022. So
your district has actually expanded as they brought in more people rather than them having the district as a majority Black district.
Correct.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So this it goes into my next question. Since you have these other demographics in your district now,
yes,
how do you manage having your pro-foundational campaign and also have things for other folks who may not be foundational, who may be a Nabisco or any other race?
How do I address it? I have specific flyers. I have flyers specifically for Black people, and I have flyers for everyone else. Now, I'm going to do for them too, but our people come first. Mm-hmm. So my platform is pretty, I don't want to say diverse, but it addresses their needs as well. They talk about they want affordable housing. It's not affordable living. I have on my platform ways to deal with that. They want to deal with crime and safety. I have ways to deal with that. There's a mental health crisis. We have this thing called Together Colorado. The funding, I'm going to make sure that the funding is going where it needs to go in regards to that, because the previous person that held the seat prior to Lindsey Gilchrist, she was influential in getting that off the ground. So I'm going to continue where she left off at with that. And in addition to that, the police accountability, which was SB, don't quote me on this, I want to say SB 70, which was the end of qualified immunity for police officers here in the state of Colorado. So I'm building off of what's already been established by my predecessors, the Black ones. So that's how I would address that.
Okay. Let's talk funding, because you have big ideas, especially taking over abandoned properties so that you can turn them into stable living places for people who are unhoused and things such as that. But all that comes with some sort of backing and funding. How do you intend to make relationships and then maintain those relationships in order to get those fundings?
Basically, every politician in the state I know. I know the mayor. I know the chief of police. I know the sheriff. I know the attorney general. I know the governor. I know the people that's running for these seats. So I already have these relationships established. So it's just getting them to see where I'm coming from. But I can't do that unless I'm in that seat. So the funding's already there. The funding's there. The mayor, the current mayor right now, stole my idea to get people housed off the street. He's talking about his housing 1,000 people. They took my idea, which was, like I just said, take these abandoned buildings, hotels, all that's already in fruition. It's already being done. They're just not giving me the credit for it. So everything I've already suggested is already being done. I'm just not getting the credit for it, which I don't necessarily want the credit for, because I'm not doing it for credit. I'm doing it because it needed to be done. Okay. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's not about the glory for you at this point in time. It's about making sure that things are getting done for the community. And that's totally understandable. My final question to you, for those who might be on the fence about you, for those who may, decide that they want to vote for, let's just say, Lindsey or Caroline, what would you like to say to kind of pull them over to your campaign to at least take a look at it?
What has Lindsey done for the district lately? You don't see her. The only time you see her is when John Bailey has an event. She only sponsored 4 bills in 2 years. Don't you want somebody that's going to be accessible and reliable, that you can depend on, that you see more than twice a year? If that's what you would like, then you would support me. You would vote for me, Jesse Parrish, for House District 8, who has been consistently transparent, consistent, and reliable for a decade plus, showing up at all these meetings, community town hall meetings, community events, city council meetings, police oversight board meetings, I'm there. There's nobody in this city that can say that they are more accessible than me. You ask anybody in this city, they know who I am, like me or not. They know who I am because I've been putting in the work for over a decade. So it's either you want more of the same or you want something new. Now y'all just selected Kiros. Y'all on this democratic socialist wave. I'm not a democratic socialist. I'm a black nationalist. But that doesn't mean I'm a white nationalist. Don't get it confused. I'm for my people first. I'm black first. But that don't mean I'm going to neglect you. I'm just tired of my people being neglected. I'm tired of my people getting the back burner. I'm tired of my people getting told, just wait. Just hurry up and wait. No, you're gambling with people's lives. And the district is tired of it. The people in my district are tired of it. They're tired of politicians only coming around when it's election season. Y'all see me every day, every week, every month. I'm out there. So that's what I would say to them.
All right. And before I let you say your final thoughts and your final words, my good brother, I would like you to reiterate what exactly it is you want to do for the community.
I want to stop. Okay. So I would like to stop the displacement, the ethnic cleansing that is going on in Northeast Denver, which has been historically a black area of town that we help build, and make sure that the people that have called this area home can actually afford to stay here and age in place here. I've done work with the seniors. I've done work with the youth. You name it, I've done work with all of these groups. And I'm just sick and tired of our seniors not being able to age in place. The property taxes are through the roof. My godmother's a property owner, and she is having a hard time making ends meet in the historically black district of 5 Points where I live. She has the oldest black-owned barbershop on Welton Street, and they're trying to price her out. I want to make sure that the black businesses are able to stay and thrive, not just survive, but thrive. I want to make sure all black Denverites are able to thrive and survive, not just survive, but thrive. And with having me in the State House, a lot more bills will get pushed through that are going to be beneficial to our people. And if you want to be, what is the word? Diverse, poor people have been forgotten in the city. The city is booming, but the people that have called this area home can't afford to live here anymore. So I want to do something about that. And I have been doing something about that. So that's what I would say to them. So if you tired of more of the same old same, getting put on the back burner, not being able to afford to live in your city, in your neighborhood, in your community, then you will support Jesse Parrish for House District 8. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this work for over a decade, like I've already said. And actions speak louder than words.
You're absolutely right, my brother. Now, I want to thank you for coming on the broadcast. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. Me and Jesse, we be chopping it up in the background. So, you know, I try to make sure that I can, whenever we have family who's running or putting their good foot forward to do something for the community, these things need to happen. So I'm glad that you are running. I'm glad that you were able to come on the broadcast and give your platform. Please let everybody know your final thoughts, as well as let everybody know where they can find you, where they can actually support your campaign. And once again, what's the date that you guys are going to be doing the elections in Colorado?
Yes, sir. So once again, I'm Jesse LaShawn Parrish, third generation Denverite, and I am running for Colorado State House of Representatives for historically black district of House District 8, once held by the Honorable Elba Resworth, along with several others. And we need to reclaim our district. We need to reclaim our seat. We need to reclaim our district. This has beyond ridiculous that we cannot afford to live here anymore. We've been gentrified, ethnically cleansed out of our communities. They have murals of us on the walls, but we can't afford to live here anymore. So what's the point of the mural? What's the point of the painting if we don't even live in the district anymore? So I want to make sure that we are able to move back to the district, because a lot of us have been displaced out to the suburbs, such as Aurora, Colorado, which is a de facto sundown town under a consent decree with a murderous police department that needs to be held accountable, along with DPD, because they're not off the hook either. City where Black Denverites can thrive and survive. That's what my main focus and my purpose of this platform and this campaign is. So if you want to support me, you would do it by going to Frontline Campaign, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook. My personal page, Jesse Parrish, aka Chan Kruma. My website is in the description in the chat. I believe somebody posted my website in the chat. I put it in the private chat, Church. So if you could post that.
Yeah, it's being posted. No worries.
Thank you. That's my website, jessefor8.com. Make sure y'all check me out. I have a very extensive platform, very detailed, very specific, not broad and ambiguous, but straight to the point. So you would support me for House District 8 if you are tired of being displaced out of your communities, not able to afford to live in your communities, and I'm tired of being victims of hate crimes in your city, in your state. Black Denverites and Black Coloradans, we need reparations now. We can't wait no longer. This study is just another stalling tactic. We need direct lineage cash payments now, and we need an anti-Black, anti-FBA hate crime bill now, not later, but right now. We need a city that is affordable, attainable to the average Joe and Jane, and we need to remember those that got Denver to where it's at now. So thank you for having me on, Church. Much appreciated. Make sure y'all check out Frontline Black News. We go live every Saturday at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Shout out to my warrior brother. Thank you for being here, my brother. And for everybody who's saying, you know, if I lived in Denver, I would vote for you. Shout out to each and every one of you. But make sure you're sharing this broadcast, because you never know. People in Denver might just catch on to it, might just see it just because you shared it. So that'll be just as good as voting for them. So shout out to you, my warrior brother. Like I said, thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time out to come and talk about your platform. And thank you for putting in all the work that you've been putting in for these decades, at least a decade, you know, for doing your thing. You know, I don't think a lot of people know how much work you do on the back end. And, you know, that's how I became privy to you, is seeing you doing these town halls and going to these, you know, situations and holding folks accountable. So like I said, from day one, I have much love for you and respect for you, because I've seen what you've been doing. But I don't think a lot of people know how many people you got off the street. I don't think a lot of people know that you go and help feed people and things like that. So, you know, this is a great opportunity, and this was a great opportunity so that people can understand exactly who Jesse Parrish is.
Yes, thank you, Church. Much appreciated, my brother. Certified salute to you. Certified salute to the family in the chat. Make sure y'all check us out on Frontline.
Shout out, my warrior brother. You be safe and keep your head on the swivel out there, my good brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, family. Let's give it up for our good brother, Jesse Parrish. And like I said, family, on this platform, one of my major things is connecting and making sure that folks understand that, you know, just because you're in one place of the country does not mean that we're not connected all through this country. And it doesn't mean that we aren't working behind the scenes to get things moving all throughout this country. That is a major goal of this platform here. because there's a lot of folks who don't understand how much work is being done behind the scenes. There's a lot of folks who don't understand that just because we're sitting in front of this mic, once we remove ourselves from the microphones, it doesn't mean that we're not continuing to work. As a matter of fact, the work is on pause while we're sitting here at these microphones. You dig what I'm saying? And then the work continues once we go back out into the world. This is what I love to appreciate. I love to give glory to folks who does stand on their square when it comes to foundational Black Americans. I love to give them honor. I love to give them what they deserve, to give them their flowers, because at the end of the day, it takes way too long for people to recognize what's really happening with people who's really working for the people, you know? So like I said, I got to give another B1 salute and shalom to our good brother, Jesse Paris. And I felt the same dang way about our good brother, Marcel Dixon. So like I said, if you want to support, I'm going to put it in the chat once again. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to put all 3 links in the chat once more before we continue. Let's go. That's 1. And that's the 2nd here. And then this is the website to check out his campaign. And like I said, if you're not in the state to vote for him, that's all fine and dandy, but go ahead, hit that share button. That'll be just as good as a vote. Trust me when I say. Sometimes people want change and can't find the change. And so let's help these folks hear what they need to hear. Let the ears who need to hear come across this. And may the Most High's will be done on that. Now, another reason why I wanted to bring our good brother Jesse Paris up to talk about his platform today, because we got to talk about the Democratic Party and their infighting. And when I say infighting, it is quite literally a civil war going on within the Democratic Party. And I thought it would be refreshing to have somebody up who actually has a platform for the Black folks in his community. I thought it would be refreshing to actually show somebody who has a care in the world for their people and who's willing to put their good foot forward in order to make sure people understand that this is what he's about. Because we're not seeing it from the Democrats whatsoever. We're not seeing it from the left. We're not seeing it from the right. But because we've been voting Democrat majority 60 damn years, people need to understand that we're looking at them to actually do something. Now, contrary to what a lot of people believe, a lot of folks ain't running off the plantation from the Democrats and running over to the Republicans. And all the people that you're seeing nowadays talking about Republicans in a positive light, 9 times out of the 10, they were already Republican before delineation took a hold of everybody. And now they just see their opportunity to big up these parties and try to get more people over to the Republican plantation. Foundational Black Americans ain't into that. At least the ones that I rock with, we are quite literally independents. We are foundational Black Americans, and quite literally, we represent for foundational Black American interest. We're not advocating for anybody to run from one plantation to the next, no matter which plantation it is. Whether it's the Democratic plantation or whether it's the Republican plantation, we are not advocating for anybody to do such. But what we are doing, we're advocating for actual policy from the people that we've been giving our votes to for over 60 years. And we're letting them know that, hey, you're going to have to take accountability for what you've been doing to our community, number one. And number two, we're not going to allow you to use our community any further in order to put people into offices that just want to turn around and ignore our community while going and doing everything for their communities. We're done with that. This is a new time, a new dawn, a new day. The problem that Democrats are having is that they cannot, and I mean cannot, get it through their heads that the delusion in which they live in, the rest of the world is not seeing it. The rest of the world is not living there, especially foundational Black Americans. So when they come with all the rhetoric, it's killing them even further. It's killing them even further. It's killing their party, and it's killing anybody who once was associated with them. They want to move away from these people once you start hearing the nonsensical rhetoric that these people are going around preaching. And I want to play this clip because it goes to show even the Democrats know that they're not actually doing well by preaching any of this nonsensical rhetoric or fighting for illegals. They know that they're not getting anywhere. And that is a frustration to some of these Democrats now. So I want to go here. I want to play this clip. Let's go here, family.
A lot of people in America who feel that there are a lot of people who feel that the Democratic Party is out of touch. We can't be honest about what's going on, with immigration. We don't have a plan for immigration. We're not able to say what actually Democrats should do to fix the problem. All we are is opposition to Trump. Under Biden, we said inflation is not really a big deal. It's transitory. It's going to go away. And then the whole party said, hey, don't worry. Everything's great. Joe is awesome. He can run for re-election. So the point is we have this history of kind of just like washing over problems and not addressing real concerns that voters have. We got to make sure we don't do that.
Okay, but we've got to make sure. Do you think you're doing that now? Because look no further than a state just north of you, Maine, where I kind of feel like that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's honest. I mean, to be honest, it's a problem. It's still a problem. There are a lot of people in America.
Right?
Now I gotta give a shout out to this dude here. I gotta give a shout out to him because at least he told the truth. And that is something that a Democrat at this point in time in America, for some reason, is too allergic to even bring up, which is the truth and what's really happening and the problems that they're facing within the Democratic Party. And the reason why they are hemorrhaging voters. So, shout out to him for telling the truth. And also shout out to our sister Hurricane Niecy in the building. Much love to you, my warrior sister, as well as our sister Intrigue in the building, and our sister Black Spider in the building. Our good brother Breeze Omega is in the building. Shout out to each and every one of you. Our sister Tiffany Jackson is in the building. Our sister Aquarius Minded is in the building. Our good brother Crew Reality is in the building. Much love to each and every one of you. Our sister Cooking with Miss D is in the building. Spotty Addy is in the building. Much love to all of you. Thank you all for being here. Spotty Addy, that is a lovely day. Oh, family. Now, before we get really into this, let me address somebody. I have to address somebody and this type of thinking. Let me go here, family.
I have 4 college degrees. I have 4 college degrees. 4. I have 2 bachelors, 1 in political science, 1 in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in criminology, law, and society. I have a Juris Doctorate degree with an emphasis in criminal law, and I am a licensed attorney, and I cannot figure out for the life of me how to get you niggas engaged. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out for the life of me. I'm a single mom. I went through law school as a single mom. I have worked and gone to school since I was 16 years old. Literally worked and gone to school simultaneously. Not just summer jobs, not even just part-time jobs, since I was 16 years old. I've lived more life than a little bit. I've been through more experiences than I can count. I spent 17 years actively fighting to get my brother out of prison who was wrongfully convicted. I spent my entire life, my entire adult life doing that. I volunteered to go to jail to have the experience. I have been trying to figure out how to communicate with you niggas. Because the space that we're in right now is dangerous as fuck. And I don't know how to break through the mold of, well, shit been bad no matter what. No matter who had it. They don't do nothing for us. They don't do nothing for black people. I don't know how to break through that mold. I'm not saying people are wrong for feeling that way or commenting that way, especially when we're seeing $1.7 billion worth of white crime reparations quickly signed, especially when one person and you ain't even fully got the position yet, you still in the acting role, can draft a document, a one-page document, and say, he off the list forever in perpetuity. And we say we want the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. But we can't do that, though. We can't give you that. Well, let's get the George Floyd. We can't do that, but stop that other hate. I get it. And I don't know what to do. I have 4 college degrees.
Now, before I go back and slow roast this, family, everybody in the chat, y'all are already 10 steps ahead of me. You're saying things that I said when I first saw this clip. You're thinking the same things that I was thinking when I first saw this clip. I know, because I'm reading the comments as they come up, and I'm like, yep, same thing I said. Yep, same thing I said. But before we get into it, let me go ahead and give some love for the shout outs. For the super chats here. Let me give a B1 salute to our sister, Miss TT, for not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5, 6 gifts. I appreciate 5 gifts and your super chat donation. Much love to all of you. Much love to you, my sister. And thank you for all that you just did here. And thank you for all that you do, my warrior sister. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. And a B1 salute to our sister, FBA Queen. Much love to you, my warrior sister, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution. Keep moving forward as we plan to do. Shout out to you, my warrior sister. Shout out to our family, Rael in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, family, as well as Radical Renaissance in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, family. And a B1 salute to our warrior brother DSB in the chat. Much love to you. And our sister Yaya Israel in the chat. Much love to you as well, my warrior sister, as well as Jamal in the chat, our good brother. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Now, let's slow roast this. Let me go ahead and draw this back. Shout out. Shout out to Maxwell Jenkins for both of your gifts. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contributions as always, family. Much love to you, my warrior brother. And thank you for being here. And another B1 salute Shout out to our sister Always Bet on Black in the building. Much love to you, my warrior sister, and thank you for your contributions as well. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate all that you do. Dropping a little something in the collection plate. Shout out to you, my warrior sister, and thank you once again. Now, let's get the slow roast on.
I have 4 college degrees. 4. I have 2 bachelors, 1 in political science, 1 in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in criminology, law, and society. I have a Juris Doctorate degree with an emphasis in criminal law, and I am a licensed attorney, and I cannot figure out for the life of me how to get you niggas engaged.
Number one, you got 4 degrees and you can't figure out that people are tired of being played with. You sat here and went down a whole list of things that's happening, not just on the Republican side, but on the Democratic side too, because you brought up the hate crime bill, said that we couldn't get the hate crime bill, but the Asians was able to. So you understand that things are happening on both sides, and you understand that people are disengaging with the parties, but yet you don't understand that us being disengaged is a form of engagement. Family, these kind of people think that because they have a number of degrees, that makes them the most trustworthy voice in the room. That means that because she has 4 degrees, that everybody should stop talking and listen to her whenever she opens her mouth about politics, about law, about anything that pertains to the topic. All while preaching the same nonsense that turned people off to begin with. All while talking about the very same things and talking to people in the very same way that turned them off from the party to begin with. Let's continue.
I can't figure it out. I can't figure out for the life of me. I'm a single mom. I went through law school as a single mom.
I don't understand the relevance of her even saying that. I don't understand the relevance of her even saying that. I'm a single mom. I went through law school as a single mom. What relevance does that have to the conversation? If you were in court right now, and I was opposing counsel, I would say, Your Honor, I object. What is the relevance? Now, the judge might give you a little leeway to see what the relevance might be, but you already understand this as a practicing criminal attorney, right? So why would you say something that is like it's just outlandishly nothing tied to what we're having here? We're not having a conversation about whether you're a single mother. We're not having a conversation about you being a single mother going through law school. You just sat here and told us that you got 4 degrees and can't figure out how to get us engaged, and then went into being a single mother. Tell me what sense that makes. It makes none to me. Let's continue.
I have worked and gone to school since I was 16 years old. Literally worked and gone to school.
Again, relevance. What is the relevance of this? I worked and gone to school since I was 16 years old. What does that have to do with Black political politics? What does that have to do with Black political power and utilizing our right to sit it out if nobody's going to bring any political policies to us? I'm just trying to figure out. The only reason why a person would think that all these things are irrelevant is because they're trying to put their resume on the table to say, look, I went to school for this long. I worked for this long. I'm even a mother and I deal with children. So I should be able to talk to you Negroes. And the fact none of that works, none of that is changing our stance. Nothing in her mindset, our arsenal, is getting us to say, well, she sounds pretty educated. Let's stop and listen to her for a second. And it's confusing her. It's baffling to her because in her mind, somebody must have told her, because you can see it on her face. If you go to school and you get 4 degrees and you do it all while being a single mother, and if you worked all your life, when you come to the people in which you're supposed to quote unquote be representing, all you got to do is bring up those attributes about yourself. And everybody's going to stop and listen and say, no, everybody quiet on the set. Don't you hear this woman with 4 degrees who went through law school as a single mother who been working since she was 16? She had something to say. This is what these kind of people think in their minds. It's not about what we're saying, because all you have to do is listen to what the Black grassroots are saying. You can't even go against what we're saying. No one can show us the flaw in the logic in what we're saying. They just act like they just can't get it together. Why can't I get through to these people? Because we heard 1 million more people like you. A B1 salute the Ruby Runner in the building. Much love to you. Certificate of struggle. And that's basically what it is. You got to make sure you bring up the struggle. You got to make sure you bring up the struggle so other Black folk can feel, connected with you. Oh, she went to school. She's been working since she was 16. She went through school as a single mother. Oh, let me listen to her. Let me lend her my ear. But that's the problem. Too many of you has picked up on the white supremacist notion, that all you got to do is go to school and be more educated than the Black man. And as a Black woman, everybody should stop and listen to you just because you have those attributes. Let me explain something to you. I can appreciate a woman wanting her education. I will never appreciate a woman who weaponizes her education against her community and think that we should be happy about it. Nor will I respect any man who does it. I treat the female who does it in the very same way that I treat the male who does it. They're both trash. Not only are both of them trash, but both of them are lost causes in my eyes. Whether you're a man or a woman. Especially when these institutions, if you are not a well-studied person of Neely Fuller Jr. and the code itself, if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it operates, you're going to come out of that institution confused, because you're going to come out that institution indoctrinated. I thank the Most High that I didn't go directly into college. I thank the Most High that I never allowed school to interfere with my education. Because I could have went into the school and came out indoctrinated too. And this is why it's important for parents to give your children the code while they're young, So while they're growing, they can continue to put these pieces to the puzzle together. So by the time they get old enough to go to college, they won't be indoctrinated because they already learned everything that they need to know about the system of white supremacy. So they'll see it coming. Shout out to Zavon Scott. They trying though, church. They are my warrior brother. That they are. Shout out to G-Nip. Johnny Cochran took a whole lot of pro bono case for the Black community in Los Angeles in the 1960s and 70s. Yeah. And here's the thing too. Johnny Cochran, for those who don't know, used to work for the DA's office as well. When he left the DA's office, he went right to work for his community. That right there is really pro-Black. And a friend of mine was brought to my attention one day. We was having a conversation a few months ago. And he was asking me, he was like, well, what kind of study are you going to be doing? And I explained to him I wanted to do criminal law as well as family law so that I can, do this for my people. And he said, well, since you want to do it for your people, I would suggest that you think about applying and going in and working for the DA. And I kind of looked at him crazy. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's for me at all. I don't think that that's where I would want to be. And he said something that really clicked with me. He said, I understand how it may seem. He said, but also think about it like this. He said, if you were to go in and you was to become a DA or an assistant DA or whatever the situation may have you, you get to then control the docket, and then you get to control the type of time certain people get. So you basically would be working for your people, because then you'll be able to make sure that your brothers wouldn't be overcharged in comparison to a Nabisco. Your sisters wouldn't be overcharged in comparison of a Nabisco. Now, while I still don't believe that's my path, he makes a lot of sense. And so that's how I come to find out about Johnny Cochran actually working in the DA's office and seeing how he took that and used all that information that he gained in the DA's office to then go out into the public realm and use all that knowledge for his people. That's what we need. We don't need more people like this right here who think just because she have these degrees that people should just stop and listen. Show us exactly what are you doing with those degrees for the people. Now, let's continue.
Simultaneously, not just summer jobs, not even just part-time jobs, since I was 16 years old. I've lived more life than a little bit. I've been through more experiences than I can count. I spent 17 years actively fighting to get my brother out of prison.
Relevance.
Who was wrongfully convicted. I spent my entire life, my entire adult life doing that. I volunteered to go to jail.
Nigga, please.
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
I saw a lot of you put it in the chat earlier. How do you volunteer to go to jail? I want to know. And what did you volunteer to? Because you have to commit a crime to go to jail. You can't just walk into jail and say, hey, I'm here voluntarily. Give me a cell. I've never seen it done. So when she says, I volunteered to go to jail, I felt like Kanye.
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Shout out to our sister Aquarius Minded. She said it looks like she broke out of jail. That sounds a bit more like it. That sounds a bit more like it. Let's continue.
To have the experience, I have been trying to figure out how to communicate with you niggas.
I want to know how and what's the relevance of volunteering to go to jail. I want to know how that gives you any kind of say so or any type of understanding that I should be able to talk to Black folk now. I should be able to get this through your mind. I just don't get the logic in this woman and what she's saying or thinking or doing. I don't. That might be the case right there. A fleeing performative arrest. That might be the situation, Ruby Runner. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'm trying to figure out, how do you volunteer to be arrested? Now, if you're a fleeing, I see now that can be how. Okay, shout out to the Ruby Runner for that. That makes perfect sense. Continue. Miss Niece said Raggedy Ann is broke.
Because the space that we're in right now is dangerous as fuck. And
in order for there to be a we, there has to be a me. And you will notice we is just me flipped upside down. So the next time you decide to make a we statement, make sure it includes me.
I don't know how to break through the mold of, well, shit been bad no matter what. No matter who had it. They don't do nothing for us. They don't do nothing for Black people. I don't know how to break through that mold.
You can't break through the mold because the people who are saying that to you, they're telling the truth. And you're trying to figure out how you can break through the truth. When people are saying things been bad, that's because people such as yourself keep going to them saying, things are getting bad for us. Things are getting bad for us. Things are going to get worse. People respond with, man, shut up. Things been bad. People say they don't do nothing for us because people like you say we need to help these people save their seats. We got to get out and support the Democrats, because if we don't, it's going to be bad for us. And people like, God dang it, they don't do nothing for us. Things been bad for us. See, people such as yourself, you like to omit the full story while sitting here acting as if you're so frustrated by the fact that people are holding these folks accountable for neglecting our community for 60 years. This is the problem. These folks act like because they got 4 degrees and they've been working since they were 16 and went through law school with a 16 as a single mother, excuse me, that they can just come over here and talk to us like we're stupid. As if we ain't got common sense. As if we don't have any political know-how. I want people to understand these folks, a lot of these people who go to college, and I'm not saying everybody that goes to college, but a lot of these folks who go to college, like I said, they're not educated, they're indoctrinated. They're so smart that they're stupid. Let me say that again. They're so smart that they're stupid. They're not educated. They're indoctrinated.
I'm not saying people are wrong for feeling that way or commenting that way, especially when we're seeing $1.7 billion worth of white crime reparations quickly signed, especially when one person and you ain't even fully got the position yet, you still in the acting role, can draft a document, a one-page document, and say he off the list forever in perpetuity. And we say we want the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We can't do that though. We can't give you that. Well, let's get the George Floyd. We can't do that, but stop that other hate. I get it. And I don't know what to do.
I know what to do. What foundational Black Americans have been doing. Telling these punks, if you ain't going to bring us no policy to our community, if you're not bringing us no reparations, cash payments, along with all the other amenities of reparations, because I'm tired of hearing people saying, God dang it, we just need the cash. We just need the land. No, we need it all. And we deserve it all. Stop limiting our reparations because nobody else's reparations have been limited. We're not here for limited reparations. We're here for our reparations, the big old slice of the pie that they've been holding away from us for centuries. That's what we're here for. We're not here for one piece or the other. We're here for every damn thing they took from us. And I don't care who like to hear this and who don't like to hear this. I'm not here to make people feel good. I'm here to tell the damn truth. So if these people ain't bringing us our cash payments, our reparations, if they're not bringing us an anti-Black hate crime bill, which she just mentioned, then you can just walk down the street and try to find another voter. We are locked in. We are fully engaged, whether you understand it or not. Us not giving people our vote willy-nilly does not mean we're not engaged. We are the most engaged people at this time. And the thing that you all are trying to do is get us to not be engaged and go back to the status quo. And the fact of the matter is that will never happen. We're done. That time is over with. So it was very important for me to play this clip. It was very important for me to play this clip because there's a lot of people out there who thinks like her. There's a lot of people who's out there who thinks like her, who thinks that just because they have a certain amount of degrees or just because they've been working since they were 16 and they went through school as a single parent or whatever, that they have more say so. Well, I'm here to tell you all, our upward mobility is not for discussion. In the very same way that our experience in America is not up for discussion. In the very same way that we built America, and that is not up for discussion. We'll vote the furniture party for the next 30 years if we need to. But you're going to get it through your thick, narrow skulls. And I don't even know how you can have a thick and narrow skull, but y'all made it happen. Now, I did that in a precursor to what we're going to be getting into here today. Let's go here, family.
Another Democratic primary has exposed the growing divide between the party's establishment and its socialist wing. While a self-described moderate survived in Arizona, Democratic socialist candidates continue to build momentum across the country, raising growing concerns about whether the party is moving too far left, just as it heads into a critical midterm election. And joining us now to discuss is national correspondent for the Daily Signal, Tony Kennett. Good morning to you, sir. Good to see you.
Good morning, Jen. Good to be with you.
Democrats would normally expect to enter a midterm election playing offense. Instead, they're spending a lot of time right now defending themselves against challenges from their own left flank. How much of a political liability is this?
It's a massive political liability. And in the strangest of cases, it appears to be a lesson that wasn't learned from Republicans back in 18, 20, and 22. So as you'll recall, in 18 and 22, the last two midterm elections where there were some significant inter-party squabbles, it was kind of the populist right, which was attacking the right flank of the more establishmentarian Republicans. And they did really well in primaries, and then they did not do so well in midterms. Now we see almost the pendulum swinging back even harder with the Democrats. The socialist aligned candidates are pushing extremely aggressively in the primaries. You get to the general, and all of a sudden, those poll numbers look a little bit hairier.
Right. I'm glad how you distinguish between a primary election and the general election, because as you said, you can win the primaries and then totally bomb out there in the general election, because many of these Democratic socialist candidates are running on socialized health care. They're running to abolish ICE. They're running on these far left policies. How big of a risk is the party taking by nominating candidates, as you said, who might appeal to activists, might appeal to the short term in the primary, but could struggle with independent voters who often decide these competitive races?
And not just independent voters. The real liability also comes with traditional party demographics. We see in the American South and the American Northeast right now a lot of traditionally Democrat supporters among many Black communities who are calling out to the Democrat establishment, begging for campaign assistance, for attention, for commercials, for revenue, because they're not getting it anymore. All of the Democrat media, all of the Democrat resources are going to these socialist aligned activist candidates.
Uh-oh, family. Did y'all hear what I just heard? Did y'all hear what I just heard? Let me run it back to make sure this man said exactly what I think he just said, shall we?
Northeast right now, a lot of traditionally Democrat supporters among many Black communities who are calling out to the Democrat establishment, begging for campaign assistance, for attention, for commercials, for revenue, because they're not getting it anymore. All of the Democrat media, all of the Democrat resources are going to these socialist aligned activist candidates. And it's causing a lot of individuals, at least according to the most recent Politico article on this, in the South to say that they may lose formerly deeply blue districts because Black voters really don't care for socialism, at least according to the kind of traditional crosstabs in the American South.
Right.
Family, let me translate what this man just said. The Black Democrats in the party is now being treated like the Black citizens that they want the vote from. He just stated that Black supporters in the party is begging the Democrats to give them funding in order to campaign. But all the funding is being given to these socialist crazy junkies. So the same Black folk who's been sitting there practicing benign neglect for the Democratic Party are now the same Black folk who is being treated with the benign neglect from their own damn party, while they're giving out funds to everyone else. Who does that sound like? It sounds like they're being treated like us. Oh, that's got to sting, don't it? Shout out to Yaya. Karma. That anti-black karma. Ooh, that ABK. Swing around they way. Oh, and I don't feel no type of way. That's why when we first started this broadcast, I played the Malcolm X chickens coming home to roost situation. I played that clip for a reason. Because these black Democrats right now, oh, their chickens are coming home to cockle-doodle-doo. Let's continue.
You know, Michigan Senate primary has now become one of the clearest examples of that debate, with the establishment backing Haley Stevens, right? Progressive wing rallying behind Abdul al-Sayed. Could that race become a blueprint for what we see play out across the country in next year's midterms?
As weird as it sounds, I want to hold my tongue on this for one reason, and it's actually due to last night with Arizona, because in some of the more purplish districts and purplish states in the country where we've seen things go both blue and red, we saw Kai Newkirk lose to a very basic kind of run-of-the-mill Democrat, a lot like Haley Stevens in Michigan, in the Arizona 4th primary, and pretty badly. That election you alluded to earlier, 68-32. Yikes. Right. Abdul al-Sayed, though, he has a bigger amount of momentum, especially from those in Dearborn, Michigan. And he's trying to say, I'm not openly a socialist, but I'm also promoting the universal health care and a lot of the other socialist regulatory policies of the DSA. It's not clear where that election is going yet. The chips are being thrown. And it's the young kind of energetic primary. I just don't know how well that's going to translate in November. Mike Rogers, who's running for re-election on the Republican side, or I should say running again, he only lost to Elisa Slotkin last time by 0.3%. So that's a tight margin.
Very, very tight. Very tight. You know, and we've also seen Democrats scramble in states like Maine after their Senate nominee, Graham Plattner, exited the race, and they had to find that replacement. So when you put all this together, is the bigger problem for Democrats their ideology, recruitment of candidates, or the fact that they're just spending so much time fighting themselves instead of focusing on Republicans?
It's a newer problem for Democrats that the fighting amongst themselves. Of course, Nancy Pelosi was known, kind of the earlier corporatist Democrat party of the aughts and the teens, was known for kind of holding things together and moving more in lockstep. And you don't really see that in this new party, as that group that I just mentioned is claimed to be leaving everyone behind and selling out, et cetera. And I just don't know if what we're seeing here is a combination of all of those storm factors that you said, or a lack of a response in a time when they should really have it easy going against Republicans and more of a stale Congress. We're just not seeing any promises other than healthcare. And that's kind of an issue when there's a lot of things voters are concerned about.
Because typically a midterm is for the party that's not in the White House. That's typically the party that has the advantage in that case. What are some key races you're watching right now?
Well, Michigan, of course, absolutely. You called me right on the carpet there. I'm still keeping an eye on what's going on in Maine, because Troy Jackson is supposed to be gaining lots of momentum, and he's not. He's already being hit with allegations of mortgage fraud, of throwing a bottle at a woman. Things are not going to get uninteresting in Maine. It's going to keep being a spicy one. I'm also keeping an eye on some of the other Senate races around the country. North Carolina, I'm interested in seeing if Roy Cooper, the former governor, can actually be painted as aligning with some of the left-wing parties, giving Whatley on the Republican side a chance to gain momentum. We'll have to see. So far, it's a very strange place to be in when the Republican Party in power, all they have to do is be quiet because the other side just needs to say, here's what they would do instead. And I still haven't seen that from the Dems. It's the most unusual midterm election I can ever remember studying.
It really is. All right. National correspondent for the Daily Signal, Tony Kennett. Always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Dan, take care.
Well, I will agree with Tony there. This is the most unusual midterm I've ever seen. And guess who's responsible for it? Give yourself a round of applause, family. Pat yourself on the back. This is all because of you, ladies and gentlemen. You got these folks going upside down, inside out, fighting each other. And don't get this confused. This is a civil war. This is absolutely a civil war. I'm going to read this article, but before I do, let me give a B1 salute to Lunch Eyes. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Just paying some ties. Shout out to Lunch Eyes. Much love, family. Shout out to David Boyd. Thank you for your gift, family. Both of your gifts. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. What is this? Uncle Alert. Uncle Alert. Shout out to you, family. Much love to you for both of your donations. A B1 salute to our sister, Mrs. TT. Thank you once again for you. 2 more gifts that you have donated. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my warrior sister. A B1 salute to our good brother, William Aaron in the building. Shout out to you, my brother, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Homelessness increased up over 3% to homelessness increase up over 3% for 8% overall increased in Los Angeles. Thanks, Democrats. Yeah, and that's highly unfortunate. But there is some good news and some bad news coming out of California. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit too. Shout out to you, my brother, and shout out to Mrs. TT one more again for your gift. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my warrior sister. Now, I want to get into this article here. And we're not going to read it all here. Alaska removes thousands of state active voter list, erroneously flagging some citizens. And I say erroneous with finger quotes because, you know, they're trying to save their butt. The state of Alaska has removed 3,048 Alaskans from the state active voter list, claiming they may be non-citizens. The removal leaves those residents able to vote only if they can provide extra identity information, and removal put them on track to be purged from the state voters roll altogether. Only U.S. citizens may vote in Alaska according to the state and federal law, but many of the removal appears to have affected citizens who were erroneously flagged by the Alaskan Division of Motor Vehicles. Carol Butcher, director of Alaska Division of Elections, told state lawmakers on Wednesday that the removals were the result of old data given to the division from the DMV. And she isn't sure why so many Alaskans were flagged as possible non-citizens. Do you guys believe that she's not sure why so many people were flagged? I don't. I believe that, she's surprised that, that information actually came to light. But let's continue. Under Alaska's motor vehicle program, people are asked if they want to register to vote when they apply for the driver's license. The registration process requires the applicant to state whether or not they are citizens. If all these are happening from errors, then wouldn't it make sense to remove the error altogether? And in a sense, what I'm saying is, wouldn't it make sense to make sure that no illegal can get a driver's license? And that way, you won't have to worry about them being automatically enrolled, even though they said they wasn't a citizen. If you cut out the gifs of the situation, then God dang it, we won't have these problems. Election officials check the state voter roll against DMV records several times per year, searching for people who may be incorrectly registered to vote here. That usually results in more like 200 names. That's still 200 too many. That's still 200 too many. That usually results in more like 200 names being flagged for extra attention, Beecher said. The latest check found a lot more names than we were expecting, Beecher said. We believe that when we did the match, that a lot of old data was picked up somehow. Yeah, you would say that. You would absolutely say that. Shout out to our sister Brooke in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here, my sister Queen. And in case you all don't know, our sister have a call to action because she is trying to get a float for the African American parade out there in Harlem. So please make sure y'all go and support our sister and make sure that we have representation in a parade that was supposed to be for us. And it's still for us. And if you're business owners, please make sure that you contact her as well. That way, when you donate, you can donate with the intentions of having your name on it. And that way you can market yourself as well. So make sure y'all contact our good sister at brookcalltoaction.com. And I'm sure my sister will continue to put that link into the chat. And mods, if our sister have to dip out, please make sure you continue to put that link in the chat as well. Now let's get back over here. We believe when we did the match that a lot of old data was picked up somehow. So we're still fettering through that, she said. Beecher said that although the number of the names flagged by the DMV was very concerning, the state has an obligation to act on the agency's report. You're absolutely correct. That is your obligation to do. It is not disenfranchising the individual from being able to vote, but a measure the division has to take to make sure that we're only having citizens voting, she said. And that's how everyone should take it from state to state. How to check, it gives you that information, this, that, and the third. If you would like to read the rest of this, family, I will put that in the chat. But this was mostly about letting you guys know that it happened again, this time in Alaska. Like I said, a lot of these states, just imagine the states that aren't reporting these things, like California, like New York, like Oregon, like Washington, like Minnesota. And I want to show you here how the Dems are putting their heads in the sand like a bunch of goddamn ostriches. I don't know if y'all ever seen an ostrich stick their head in the sand, but not only is it intriguing, but it looks brutal. It looks like that ostrich trying to snap his damn neck off the way it slam his head into the sand. This is what we got Democrats doing as of right now when it comes to these things. Let's go here. This woman on two separate occasions get caught up in what her conversation is. Now I showed a clip about this of this same person. What was it? Wednesday? These are two new clips that she has.
Curious to your thoughts on President Trump's big announcement last week regarding election interference. Obviously, these new declassified documents have come out showing that there's over 250,000 aliens registered to vote. I mean, is that not concerning to you?
I mean, we want to make sure that, we have free and fair elections, and we already have laws in the books that help us deal with this kind of stuff.
Nope, my bad, family. I sent the wrong one. Okay, well, let's go to this one, because this is absolutely just a mirrored version of the one I showed you on Wednesday. Let's go to this one.
Hi, Congresswoman. Hi. Sorry, I'm late for a meeting. Well, you said the other day illegal aliens are voting in American elections. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit further? Because I thought Democrats always said aliens never vote, but now they do. Sorry, we're running late for a meeting.
This is sort of absurd. You know the facts as well as I do that folks were clearly inadvertently registered through a mistake. We have laws in place that help ensure that when this happens, that we find, determine, and remediate the error. I think it sounds like with the investigation is still happening, New Jersey instigated an independent investigation. They'll figure out what happened. Folks who received a ballot or a voter registration card in the mail, I could understand how they might have made an error, but 400 out of 6,600 is clearly not widespread fraud. It is something that deserves to be investigated and that we have to figure out the root cause of and fix. But 400 people is not nationwide voter fraud that this president is proposing is happening.
But isn't it just such a perfect argument to get the Save America Act passed? Because if that were actually implemented at the time of this,
do you know how many people are dying from abortion bans?
Shit. Got your ass.
Deflection. Deflect. That's all I hear. Deflection. Deflect. Sean is the name of the game, and it is the word of the day. We're talking about voting here. Come on, Maria. Get it together. How do you go from talking about voters to talking about abortions?
We're just going to change the subject.
Well, do you
know how many people are dying from abortion?
Many fewer that are dying from abortion bans. But if you are so willing to dismiss a percentage argument and an argument about facts, I think it's worth investigating. I think this incident of folks being incorrectly registered to vote is important to investigate. It's important to fix. It's important to ensure that our laws are being upheld and that only people who are eligible to vote can vote. But that's already the law. We don't have to pass another law to say what is already the law.
Existing law doesn't even work. So don't we need another?
So if you're arguing about percentages being irrelevant, can you do the math for what 400 out of 6,600 is?
I have a hard time believing it's actually 400. I believe that if it's 400, the number's actually far greater, and it's probably happening in far more states. If it happens once, there's a very high possibility it happens again, right?
I don't think that's what laws or what statistics necessarily say. But seeing that you're not interested in determining the facts and following the investigation, you just want to go with your guts, then I think this conversation is.
There's actually numerous pieces of evidence that show aliens are registered to vote in a number of states. So it's not just New Jersey; it's actually happening nationwide.
But I don't think there's numerous pieces of evidence to say that there's massive voter fraud. I think
isn't one alien voting too many?
One person dying from an abortion ban too many?
One person dying from abortion is too many, I think. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Shout out to Project Leroy in the building, my warrior brother. Thank you for being here. Godly. This man said refrigerator built Maria talking crazy. And she ain't the only one. She's not the only one. I want you all to pay attention to even the Republicans when they're talking about these situations and not just the voter, because they're being asked about these damn bills that's being brought up by Republicans in order to extend mass amnesty to these people. And they want you to know, just don't concentrate on it. Don't concentrate on it. The Democrats are not concentrating on the people who are voting illegally. Let's go here.
Just please, there's a growing effort from a number of House Republicans to create a pathway to citizenship for illegal aliens. There's a new agriculture bill that does that. There's a Dignity Act that does that. Are you at all concerned that the Republican Party is sort of drifting away from America First priority?
Well, those bills haven't moved out of committee. If you look, the bill HR2 that we passed in the last Congress was considered by everybody the strongest border security bill in our country's history. And then we've continued to carry out strong border security measures. We actually have the best border security right now under President Trump that we've seen in generations. So we finally secured the border. We're going to continue to do that. Democrats made it clear they want open borders without any doubt. I mean, they shut down the entire Department of Homeland Security because they want open borders. We're not going to let that happen.
Just please,
So the Republicans want you to keep an eye on the borders. He said those bills haven't moved out of committee. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say those bills ain't going to go nowhere. Don't worry about it. Oh, as soon as they get to the floor, they're going to die. He didn't say nothing like that. They haven't even made it out of committee. So what is going to be your response once they make it out of committee? You still going to be talking about the border and how secure it is? So these folks are just as delusional. They're putting their heads in the sand the same way that these goddamn Democrats are doing. Here's Nancy Pelosi.
Hi, Congressman Pelosi. Last time I asked you about January 6th, why you turned the National Guard away on January 6th, you told me to shut up and that I was repeating Republican talk.
Shut up again because you're speaking lies. And
you're right here. You're right here on the record saying,
no,
I'll admit it.
No, I did not admit it.
Now, family, I ain't seen Pelosi since Donald Trump became president. I've seen her maybe 3 times doing like interviews. I have not seen her since then. Really, this is the first time that I've seen Nancy Pelosi all damn year. Have y'all noticed that? This is the first time that I've seen Nancy Pelosi all damn year. And it's July, the middle of July.
The president never sent would agree to send the National Guard. Don't waste your time or mine on you.
Why was your daughter filming you on January 6th?
Why don't you get away?
These are just questions the American people want answers to.
No, you know what? I don't even think you're a real journalist. You work for Mike the Pillow Man.
Actually, I do, and we're very proud.
I don't consider that journalism. Mike the Pillow Man, that's not journalism. I don't have any reason to talk to you.
He'd love to give you a free
pillow.
pillow.
Record this. I want people to know that you are not a real journalist. You work for Mike the Pillow Man, and all you do is spout untruths.
Okay.
Get away from
me. You
me.
can insult me all you
Get
want,
away from me.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We'll give you my pillow so you can have a nice sleep tonight, okay?
Nancy wasn't having none of her stuff today. None of the shenanigans or chicanery. Let's go here.
Hi, Congressman. How are you?
Good.
Good. Just curious to get your thoughts on this latest development in New Jersey, where the governor has revealed that there are thousands of aliens actually registered.
This man looks like an alien himself. I'm not surprised by nothing this man does, because this man looks like a straight up alien himself. Just hearing the word alien, he like, yeah, I'm on board. Don't worry. Whatever you need me to do, it's going to be done. Let's hear what the Punjabi alien from E.T. has to say.
To vote in the state, and 400 of them actually did vote. Democrats have long said illegals never vote in American elections. Obviously, that's not true. What are your thoughts on?
Well, only American citizens should vote in elections.
Does this man has his eyebrows tattooed on? Does this man has his eyebrows tattooed onto his face? Do he got the same disease as Bobby Lashley? Because that's clearly a wig. That is clearly a wig. Man, these people are getting weirder and weirder by the goddamn day. I tell you what.
And if there is a problem with registration, whether it is a software glitch or whatever that is, that needs to be fixed. But no, only citizens should vote. Anyone that is a non-citizen must not be able to vote in our elections.
But they did. So what should happen now? I mean,
Well,
we've
that
always
needs to
heard
be- it
that
needs-
2020 was the most secure election of all time. I mean, can we trust that now? Should the American people really trust that?
Look, we need to investigate if that is what happened, and that needs to be resolved. But it should never happen.
And wouldn't this be the perfect argument to get the Save America Act passed? I mean, Save America Act, if it were implemented, it would have stopped all of this from happening. Does that change your stance at all?
Well, no, this is an isolated incident. It was, I want to know what went wrong. That needs to be fixed. But Save Act is not the answer.
Why is it not the answer?
Because it suppresses voting by minorities. It suppresses voting by women. It makes it harder for people of low means, poor people to get the documentation that they need. So every American citizen should feel free to vote and be able to vote without restrictions.
But don't, I mean, the average American has documentation. They have ID, proof of citizenship. It's not that hard to get. I mean, these are standard documents most people have. So is it really suppressing?
Well, look, a passport costs $160, and most Americans with this affordability crisis don't have $160 sitting around to pay for a passport. Some people don't have their birth certificate. Some women have changed their names after getting married, and it makes it all harder. And I think we have a system that works. Yes, it's not perfect. There are some instances of failure and errors, and those all need to be fixed.
So that's why you voted against the Stop Insider Trading stock ban?
That was not just it was a very complicated bill. It had much more things. I'm against inside trading, but that bill was not about that alone. Thanks.
Thank you, Congressman.
Shout out to Astarte Jones. Yeah, I agree with you. Foreigners shouldn't be able to run for office in this country. If you wasn't born here, it should be just like the presidency. You should not be able to hold any public office whatsoever. Whatsoever. Let me say that one more time for dramatic effect. Whatsoever. Let's go here. This person here want to tell you voting laws are racist. After a sister called in, was it a sister? Somebody calls in and basically tells him that he's lying, and I believe it was a Latino. Let's go here.
I'm an immigrant. How do I prove, or anybody can prove that they are citizens if you don't have to show any ID? That's my question. My comment about ICE, I have a very Hispanic last name. I am not worried about ICE stopping me. And if they do for any reason, I have plenty of proof that I am a citizen. So I'm not going to run away. I'm not scared of them. So I don't understand what the big deal is about them catching the illegals.
And Rena, do you
now notice she said, I'm an immigrant. You hear the thick accent in her voice. Now watch his response to her.
Carry that proof with you? The proof of your citizenship?
Yes, I do. I do. And most of the Hispanic people do, the ones that are legal. And I don't understand why they keep saying that Hispanic people can't have IDs or, I mean, I'm not stupid. Hispanic people are not stupid. I'm not a victim.
Y'all heard what she said, family.
Hispanic people are not stupid. I'm not a victim. Stupid. Hispanic people are not stupid. I'm not a victim.
She sound like us when we keep telling them, God dang it, we all got IDs. Hell, I need the ID to go pick up my mother's medication. What the hell you mean? We ain't got IDs and we can't go and vote because we don't have IDs. So then you try to play it with the Hispanic community and they're saying the exact same thing. What are these people talking about?
People can't have IDs or, I mean, I'm not stupid. Hispanic people are not stupid. I'm not a victim. I'm a citizen now. But again, if I go to register as a Hispanic person, how does anybody, just by me putting in there that I'm a citizen, does that prove, is that enough proof that I can vote? I just want the congressman to answer that.
Okay.
I mean, if you're a Democrat and you really want to prove that there's no fraud, you would think that they would be in favor so that they can say, you're right, there is no fraud.
Okay.
He's not liking this one damn bit because he's doing this in the interest of these Spaniards, these Latinos, these folks who are immigrants. He's doing this and they're doing this in their interest. And when you have people who say, hey, sir, I'm one of those people in which you're speaking about, and you're telling a lie. And it's not just, it would be different if it was a black person talking to him. No, this is somebody from his own damn community telling him, hey, I am Hispanic. I'm an immigrant. I got my ID. We're not stupid. You can't treat us like we're stupid. We all got our stuff that we need. The lady asked her, do you carry around your citizenship papers? She said, yes. Yes. I carry around my citizenship papers. That goes to show when somebody actually understands how America works, they know not to leave home without it. In the very same way that most people know not to leave home without their identification card. At some point, you might just need it. 9 times out of the 10, you're going to need it. Let's listen to his response.
Okay, Rena, let's get him to answer.
So I'm Hispanic. I look very Hispanic. I got a Hispanic last name. Why should I have to prove that I'm a U.S. citizen when people who are white never get questioned about this at all?
Nigga, please.
You don't get to pull the race card. You don't get to pull the race card. And let me explain to you why. Because all of you are classified as white when it comes down to identification purposes. Mexican is not a race. Hispanic is not a race. And when you get your driver's license, when you get your identification cards, it does not say Mexican on it. It does not say Hispanic. It says white. I was having a conversation about this with one of my brothers the other day. Somebody I grew up with, you know, a part of my bro circle. And he's married to a half Mexican chick. I think she's half Mexican, half white. Either that or she's full Mexican. I think she's full Mexican because the conversation came about and I was talking about something and he brought up his girl. And I'm like, man, your girl's a white woman. And this man said, no, she ain't. She's Mexican. What the hell is your problem? This, that, the third. I said, man, I don't give a damn. I said, what does her identification card say? I said, go pull it out of her purse and tell me what does it say under race on her identification card. And then my other brother came in. He was like, yeah, but even though it says white, that don't count. They still brown. I'm like, God dang it, you guys just don't get it. They're white. They fought to be white, so they're white. That being said, this man, he's not allowed to use the race card because he's classified as white. That's it. So don't say when nobody white has to explain why they're here. Here's another thing. If you're breaking into a country and staying here illegally, and they're being protected by people who look like you because they're of your community, yeah, all of you would be under scrutiny. It should be. You're harboring a fugitive. So everybody needs to show their paperwork. That's how this works. You might not like that this is how it works, but that's how it works. It is a crime. And you guys are going around trying to perpetuate the crime and then look at everybody else as if we're crazy or racist for saying that this shouldn't be happening. Continue.
To me, how is that fair at all? You know, my mother, I told her to start carrying her passport when she didn't want to stand in line to get her real ID. And I was like, Mom, what are you doing? You got to get your real ID. It's required now, right? And, you know, ICE, we were hearing stories of ICE picking up people. If you didn't have a real ID, then.
So you just admitted that everything that you were saying about people not having IDs and things like that, people can't afford IDs, all this other crap, you just admitted all that was a bunch of malarkey. Because your mother, you're telling her to carry around her passport. So why wouldn't anybody who is a citizen do the same thing? Carry around their passport or papers to show that they're legal. Because American citizens have to carry around a driver's license or identification card. And being pulled over, you still have to present it. So what makes you think that your people shouldn't have to go through the same thing. Treat everybody else like Nazi Germany except for us, the actual people who are here illegal, are the people who are protecting the people who are here illegally. Make that make sense.
Oh, okay, you must be undocumented. So they said, start carrying your passport. But my mom shouldn't have to do that. You know, we don't ask people with the last name Smith or Jones to do that. Why should we have to ask Hispanic citizens to have to prove themselves that they're citizens?
I'm an immigrant.
Black Americans shouldn't have to deal with a bunch of people that shouldn't be in the country to begin with. But we do. Life's not fair. Our communities shouldn't be shut down in order to build freaking housing places for a bunch of folks who shouldn't be here to begin with. Life's not fair. Black Americans shouldn't have their votes diluted or their representation diluted because everybody want to have sanctuary cities all of a sudden to inflate the number of population so that they can have more seats in their state. Yeah, life's not fair. So if you got to show your identification to be able to vote, if you got to show your documentation to show that you're a citizen here in the country, I don't want to hear nothing about it. Y'all ain't even got a small percentage of the unfairness that foundational Black Americans had to go through. Not a small percentage. You ain't never seen the 0.1%. You're still in a 0.0000006%. Again, you're still at a 0.000000006% of the things we had to go through in this country. Not even, you ain't even got to a 0.1% yet. So miss me about what's fair. Now that we got the voting situation out of the way, let's get to this civil war, shall we? Let's get to this civil war. And like I said, it is a civil war. It is a civil war. And don't just take my word for it. Take theirs. Democrats decide 2026 midterm elections are the perfect time for a civil war, pitting socialists against moderates. Oh, family. I'm going to drop this link into the chat because you might want to read it later in its full entirety. Let's scroll. When midterm campaigns began, each major political party. Oh, also, this article is going to show both parties. This isn't just about Democrats, just so people understand why I'm doing this. This isn't about Democrats. This is actually going to tell you that both parties could really use a boost. And both parties could be doing something for foundational Black Americans to get that boost. But they're choosing not to. When the midterm campaigning began, each major political party had a clear game plan. Republicans would emphasize border security and an economy that was finally shaking off years of high inflation. Democrats would focus attention on a deeply unpopular president, Donald Trump, to energize their voters. Notice, that's what they're depending on. Focusing attention on a deeply unpopular president. Not policies, not getting things done for their constituents, none of that. Concentrating on how much people hate the president. It hasn't worked out that way. With a little more than 3 months ago, both parties are grappling with self-inflicted wounds and messy missteps that has complicated their path to victory in key races. Self-inflicted wounds and messy missteps that complicated their pathway to victory. Shout out to 13 Mike Travels in the building, as well as our sister Mrs. Denise Hood Tactics in the building. Shout out to you. Let's continue. Trump steered the country into a war against Iran with no end in sight, disrupting the global flow of oil, spiking prices at the pumps. He remains fixated on purging his party of decent. I'm sorry, of dissent and regulating, relitigating. I don't know why I'm tripping. Okay. Relitigating his election defeat 6 years ago. I don't even know why he keeps doing it. Just move forward with it, but I get it. Election integrity, I get it, but still, this dude he is sinking his own ship on that too. But yeah, that is correct. Anyway, let's move forward. On the other side of the aisle, Democrats are in the throes of their internal civil war between moderates and progressives. As Democrat socialists successfully oust incumbents, some candidates have imploded in spectacular fashion, jeopardizing races the party had expected to win. Jeopardizing races that the party expected to win. Jeopardizing races that the party expected to win. Shout out to our sister Andrea Jones in the building. Much love to you, my sister queen. Thank you for being here. The drama has turned existential as each party faces a moment of reckoning. Democrats remain shaken by Trump being elected again and are desperately searching for a path back to power. Republicans are beginning to contemplate a post-Trump era. I wonder what that looks like, especially after MAGA. Even as the president maintains an iron grip on the party. Frank Luntz, a longtime pollster, said the year has been consumed by a sense of chaos and confusion. By a sense of chaos and confusion. We really don't know what's going to happen in November, he said. All these candidates rocked by a scandal. Democrats' latest turmoil has unfolded in Wisconsin, one of the most narrowly divided battleground states. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez abandoned her bid for governor after the campaign finance scandal, just as she seemed to be consolidating support. Now the party establishment is concerned her departure will elevate Francesca Hong, a Democrat socialist who's viewed by party leaders as a potential weak opponent against U.S. Rep. Tom Tiffany, the likely Republican nominee. If we lose, Trump's most loyal lackey in Congress takes control of Wisconsin. And that's turned regular Democrat Angus. I'm I'm thinking it was supposed to say against, but excuse me. Into flop sweats, said longtime Wisconsin liberal activist Scott Ross. Still, he predicted that one. I am tripping out. He predicted that once the focus moves past the primary, Democrat voters would unite behind the party candidates. If they do, they will do it reluctantly, and if they do, they will do it with a grin on their face. Look at Jasmine Crockett. Look at Jasmine Crockett. Let's be very clear here. Now, then there in Maine, where the party is eager to defeat Republican Senator Susan Collins as a part of the nationwide push to regain control of the chamber, Graham Plantner, an oyster farmer and political outsider, rode a wave of grassroots energy to the Democratic nominee, only to drop out after the allegations of sexual assault, which he denied. Supporters had hoped Plantner would be the kind of candidate who could win white working class voters back to the party, despite controversies, including a tattoo widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. This is how desperate the Democratic Party has become. They're taking in open Nazis. And a history of inflammatory social media posts. Democrats are holding a convention this weekend to choose a replacement candidate. Celinda Lake, a Democratic pollster and consultant, said activists and voters have been willing to overlook potential vulnerabilities while supporting outsiders for office. I don't think any activists or voters in the foundational Black American community are willing to overlook any vulnerabilities, especially somebody who's accused of sexual assault, especially if that person who is accused of sexual assault has a tattoo of a goddamn Nazi and a bunch of inflammatory social media posts about Black folk. Yeah, I think not. I think not. Miss Nisi, if I had the answer to that, I think I would be able to make $1 million. I think I'd be able to make more than $1 million. I could make a few billion. I might be the first Black trillionaire if I could answer that question, because it seems like a lot of folks, they just think that once you run, everything that you did just disappears. I'm just saying. People love to dig up those graves. People love to dig up those graves. Shout out to you, my sister. There's something in the air that has made these candidates incredibly reckless and thinking that they can get away with it, she said, pointing at the president as a potential explanation. I think Trump has kind of created a high-risk environment, she says. Very interesting. Mark Short, the former chief of staff to Trump's first-term Vice President Mike Pence, said the dynamic was reminiscent of 2010, when the Tea Party ushered in the wave of unvetted Republican candidates who famously beat establishment figures in primaries, but lost in November, costing Republicans the Senate, even as they made gains in the House. The shoe, he said, is now on the other foot. I feel like when there is a lot of energy on one side that can tend to nominate candidates that create hurdles for you and limit what your gains could be, he said. That creates hurdles for you and what your gains could be. Division between Democrats are on display in key races. One second, family. Other races are forcing Democrats to confront some of their deepest divisions. In Michigan, Senate candidate in progressive favor Abdul El Sayed, I hope I said that right, but if not, oh well, has worried party leaders like Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer, who fears he's too far left to win the seat, which Democrats will need to hold on to, if they want to. I am tripping, Democrats will need to hold on to if they want a shot at winning the majority this year. Supporters point to the enthusiasm he garnered as a way forward for the party. Really? Okay. The primary also highlighted the schism, over Israel. A schism over Israel. El Sayed has described Israel's military campaign in Gaza as a genocide, an accusation rejected by Israel and the White House. In response, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, and its affiliate groups have spent close to $30 million backing primary rival Haley Stevens. Interesting. 30 million, huh? Adam Green, co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, said it's clear voters across the country are rebelling against the political system they see as rigged and yearning for candidates willing to fight on their behalf. He said candidates like El Sayed would serve as a proof of concept going into 2028. That bold, shake-up system economic fighters are more electable in purple and red states than stall status quo corporate aligned Democrats. Damn, Nancy, you gonna let them talk to you like that? Chuck, you gonna let them talk about you like that? Clyburn, I know you got something to say. Mr. Stop Slogan Area. Slogan Area kills people. I know you got something to say about it. No? Christian Clark? Nothing? Interesting. In Washington, Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, downplayed the ideological division would endanger Democrats. A healthy party is a party that has arguments, he said. I think our party should be debating ideas. We should be having hotly contested primaries. Okay. Republicans rocked by retirements and ousted incumbents. Republicans are facing their own challenges as they try to buck history precedent and maintain congressional control. Trump reshaped this year's Senate map by sidelining some Republican incumbents and promoting loyalists to replace them. That includes in Texas, where he ousted longtime Senator John Cornyn, and endorsed Ken Paxton, a fiery conservative with a lengthy history of corruption allegations. Republican leaders had warned his nomination would put the state in play and force the party to spend millions of dollars defending what would have otherwise been a safe seat. Yeah. I guess John here, he must not have been rocking with too many things that Donald Trump was saying and doing. Donald Trump saw fit to get him out of there, coach. Anyhow, others choose to leave the party. In North Carolina, Senator Tom Tillis declined to run for re-election after feuding with Trump. Democrats hope to flip the seat with former Governor Roy Cooper. Whit Aries, and I think that's right, but it might be wrong. A longtime Republican pollster and strategist said Trump has exasperated the problem. He exasperated the problem. He done stirred up all kind of shit, is what he's saying. Of the political culture that has produced more extreme candidates on both sides of the aisles thanks to closed primaries. Trump can boost candidates or hold them back. Republicans have historically struggled when Trump isn't on the ballot. But he also risks weighing candidates down. 37% of U.S. adults approve of how he's handling the presidency, according to most recent AP NARC polls, which shows deep dissatisfaction over his handling of the economy and other issues. But instead of staying focused and lowering prices, Trump has continued his bombardment of Iran and a struggle for control over the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for the global oil supply. He also delivered a primetime address, which no other news outlet that wasn't right-wing showcased. And I don't know if any of the people who are Democrats took offense to it, but they should. For media outlets to say that I'm not going to broadcast a presidential announcement, that is wild. And they said that they did it because Trump throws out so many falsehoods that they just didn't want to deal with it. Well, that never stopped you before. I mean, you did the same thing with Joe Biden. Just saying. Shout out to my sister Black Spider. She said, I respect the broadcasters. That's why I have never been timed out. I despise them telepathically. Oh, I love you. Shout out to our sister. I'm just saying here, they didn't give people the opportunity to decide for themselves if they like what the president was saying or if they thought he was lying or anything like that. They said, we know better than you, so we're not going to televise what this man is saying, even though he was bringing to light that China has been funding some of these political parties, or should be politicians. But I digress. He also delivered a primetime address in which he continued to dispute his 2020 loss in an appeal for more restrictive voting laws, excuse me. America is absolutely in chaos, my warrior brother, and it's in chaos because they're not doing right by foundational Black Americans, but they'll figure it out soon enough. Shout out to our good brother John Son in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Like they don't throw the same lies at us. Exactly. Trump is our biggest ally, said Lake, the Democratic pollster and consultant. He's the best thing the Democrats have going. Let me reread that. He's the best thing that Democrats have going. Let me read that one more time. He's the best thing that Democrats have going. If that's the case, that says a lot about the party. And this is why you're losing a lot of people in the party. Shout out to Northside Roger in the building. He said, I love watching white folks ruin America. Hey, shout out. Black Americans going to have to make a choice. No, we already made our choice. Our choice is the couch. These folks can go and do whatever the hell they want to go and do and watch them come right back to us. We're like Thanos in that way. You did everything in your power, and where did it lead you? Right back here to us. But Jenny Beth Martin, chair of the grassroots conservative group Tea Party Patriot Actions, disagree. President Trump is the single greatest advantage Republicans have in the midterm election, she said in the statement. The energy and enthusiasm he generates is incomparable. And we're counting on him to motivate his supporters to go to the polls. So the Republicans are hedging their bets on Donald Trump's voters, and the Democrats are hedging their bets on Donald Trump messing up so much that he turns off his voters. Both parties are in a place where they could use foundational Black Americans. They just refuse to do anything. Let's go here, family. Like I said, they're in a civil war. The Democratic Party is in a civil war. And the Republicans are trying to figure out what they can do to get Trump voters out, because a lot of them, whether you know it or not, there's a lot of folks in the Republican Party that rock with Israel and Donald Trump supporters. They're rocking with him. And then there's some people who aren't rocking with Israel. And the same thing is happening in the Democratic Party. So they're both technically in a civil war. Just right now, the Democrats' war is on full display. Let's get over to what Madani had to say as of recently about the whole split here.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to approach the Netanyahu issue from a different direction.
Please.
I wonder what you would say to your Palestinian supporters and others who voted for you because of your vow to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu and are disappointed with the fact that you can't do it. Some of them have taken to social media saying, arrest him anyway because ICE doesn't ask for permission, that you should just do it. And also, the second part of the question is, what do you think that these people who are frustrated with Netanyahu should do when he arrives in New York City for the United Nations meeting?
I think one of the bedrocks of our city is protest. It is something that has been a part of what makes our city so special, that New Yorkers can express themselves, whether they are in support or in opposition, no matter on whatever topic. And I've always said that when we respect our Constitution, we also respect our First Amendment. And here in New York City, it'll always be a place where you can exercise that. And when it comes to the first question, I have made clear both that I believe that this is an arrest warrant that should be executed, and also that I would follow the laws that we had, and I would be respectful of those laws. And that is why I asked my administration to do a review of all applicable law. And I believe, however, in that same finding, that the United States government does have the ability to both joining the International Criminal Court and executing that warrant. And that is something that I want to see happen.
I just want to follow up. I want to two questions really. Can you tap into the disappointment that people in the Palestinian community feel that you're
feels a level of frustration?
My apologies, family. I was trying to set something up and it just popped over. Let's roll that back a little bit.
Two questions really. Can you tap into the disappointment that people in the Palestinian community feel that you're not going to be able to arrest them? And are you urging them to protest?
I'm simply saying that this is a city where if anyone feels a level of frustration or opposition, protest is something that we will always respect. I leave it to New Yorkers themselves to make that decision. And when it comes to Palestinian New Yorkers who are disappointed, I understand it, because we are talking about someone who has been charged with crimes against humanity, someone who has visited the city on many an occasion and who has been welcomed by previous mayors. And I want to make it very clear that that welcome ends with me. I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals when they come to the city. And I do believe that our federal government should join the International Criminal Court and ensure that there is accountability when it comes to crimes against humanity.
Thank you, Marsha. All right, got time for a few more. We're going to.
So, this man, he lied to his little constituents and said that he was going to be able to do some things to Netanyahu, and that ain't working out for him. And, people are calling him on it. And it's getting even worse because, like I said, the civil war that's happening it's not just about Israel, but for the Democrats, you have the Israel situation that's tearing a rift in between the Democratic Party, and then you have the DSA situation that's happening that's tearing apart the Democratic Party. And you're seeing more of these Democratic Socialists of America basically gaining more and more power within the Democratic Party. And yeah, a lot of folks ain't really feeling it. They're just not feeling it. So let's go here. Andy Bashir.
Big tent party.
Andy Brzezinski, excuse me, whatever.
Democratic Party has to be a big tent party. We have democracy in our names, which means we have to be able to disagree on some things, but be willing to work together on the things that matter most to people. And I actually don't think that the Democratic base or voters have necessarily shifted. I think right now they don't believe in anyone's solution. They just don't see life getting better. And I will say this, many who are running under the Democratic Socialist brand or the Progressive brand are making their case with just extreme passion. They are convincing voters that they will work as hard as they can. And that's what voters are asking for right now. They're not just saying fight with Donald Trump. They're saying fight for me. And so I think as Democrats, we've got to make our case as strongly as possible while also still having realistic solutions. Because listen, you can run however you want, but when you win, you have to get results. And that's what you see especially with Democratic governors. The Democratic Party has to be a big tent party.
The Democratic Party has to be a big tent party because they screwed over their constituent base. You didn't need to be a big tent party when you had foundational Black Americans voting for you for 60 damn years, did you? Y'all saw firsthand that it really isn't a big tent party when we started sitting it out after Obama. Y'all thought Obama was put in the office by the big tent. It was not the big tent. It was foundational Black Americans. And then when he showed us his Kenyan ass and told us to kiss it, he lost his base. And the Democratic Party lost the base. So now here you are talking about we need to have a big tent because you can't get people out to go and vote for you. Because you didn't do nothing for your constituents. So now y'all got to bring in socialists. You got to bring in Nazis. You got to bring in everybody under the sun to make sure the Democrats have a chance. Unfortunate. I want to go here because Vanessa came out, and Vanessa has some things to say about the DSA. Vanessa has some words for the Democratic Party. Vanessa said, let me go ahead and take this thought that I have that I'm pretty sure was given to him. And let me go ahead and hit the highways and flyways so I can put it on the 6 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news that the Democratic Party, they're going a little bit too ham on this socialist crap. Now, I'm not sure if his Nabisco Zaddy, Jeff Bezos, told him to do so. But let's hear what Vanessa has to say, shall we? Let's go here.
Despite the pushback from the more establishment wing of the party, the left is on the march. They have their sights set on Michigan, which is shaping up to...
I sound racist, do I? Well, I don't know how that could be because racist is due to racism. And I can't be a racist if I don't practice in the system of racism. I don't use prejudice plus power in order to keep anybody from anything. So yes, sounding racist, I don't think that I do. Now, maybe you were speaking about somebody else. If so, please clarify. Let's get into it.
Give an indicator of where the party is headed. Congresswoman Haley Stevens is backed by Senator Chuck Schumer, and the establishment is facing off against Abdul El-Sayed, who has the backing of AOC and Bernie Sanders, among other socialist leaders.
Now, that race has become ground zero in the fight for the future of the party. Over the weekend, El-Sayed attacked ICE and pro-Israel Americans, two of the primary issues causing the fracture within the party.
If I'm ICE, you damn well better believe I'm dangerous. If you're AIPAC, I'm dangerous.
Send in the clowns. Let's talk more about this with Republican New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino and former communications director for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Corbin Trent. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Babbies.
All right, Corbin, I'd like to start with you on this from a Democratic standpoint. How dangerous is this for the Democratic Party? You've now got a split right down the middle. This split rivals any MAGA split that the Republican Party had going back to the last couple of elections. How does the Democrat Party come out of this when you've got candidates outright talking about communism?
What candidates are talking about communism? There ain't a single one talking about communism, but we'll put that aside. What I think you have right now in the Democratic Party is something you had back, 2014, 2012, 2010 in the Republican Party when it was called the Tea Party. And, they wanted to abolish the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, Medicare, Medicaid, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They wanted to abolish the whole blasted thing. But what it did is it created an anti-establishment wing, and it opened up a lane for people to say, hey, what we've got systematically is not working. And it led to the election of Donald Trump. It led to the election of a lot of people in the Freedom Caucus. And it broadened the ideas that were acceptable in the Republican Party. And I think that's what's happening here. You're seeing a broadening of the ideas. I don't think fire departments are communism. I don't think libraries are communism. I don't think that the dozens of dams and bridges and roads that we have built around here in East Tennessee are communism. I think that's how you build countries, it turns out.
Yeah, Vicki, I think it's interesting because, we hear this is sort of what that clip from Bill Maher was sort of referencing a lot of the Democrats who say, no, that's not what we're talking about, and Corbin talking about infrastructure and all of these things. Whereas, even someone who is more traditionally liberal, a traditional Democrat like Bill Maher says, no, you're talking about socialism and beyond. He said he doesn't want to live in communist America. He's read the actual statements and the claims of what these people want to do.
A Fox News host went after one of CNN's own tonight, and Van Jones was going viral in part because of a post that he made over the weekend. It struck a nerve with both the right and the left, right? We showed you Fox, but on the left, well, there was a lot of response to this too. So let me read in part what Van wrote. He wrote, I'm tired of being told that to be a progressive, I now must swear allegiance to crazy ideas. I'm a strong Democrat with a winning bipartisan track record. I'm rooted in progressive ideals and policies, criminal justice reform, Green New Deal, Medicare for all, free education, clean air and water. Those are ideas I fought for my entire life. But some people in groups like the DSA are pushing an agenda far outside those ideals. Supporting Hamas is not progressive. No police, no prisons, no borders is not progressive. Celebrating the murder of Israeli civilians is not progressive. These ideas are, Van's all caps, regressive. And Van Jones is now out front along with Gretchen Carlson. So Van, your post struck a nerve, right? We saw it strike a nerve on Fox News. I saw it strike a nerve among many on the left. Yes. Okay. For whom some of those things you mentioned have become passionate rallying calls, right?
Yeah.
But you knew it was going to. You didn't. Van Jones doesn't walk into a moment like this being like, "Oh, I don't think this is going to have a splash."
Okay, let me go like this.
Oh, why?
To you.
Why do you say?
Because this was necessary.
Thank you.
This was especially from your voice. Now I'm going to let you respond first because this is about you, and then I can pick up.
Well, listen, I cannot tell you this phone has been blowing up all day. Governors from both parties, senators from both parties, Democrats in the House calling, thanking me for saying what everybody's been saying behind the scenes, which is that this stuff is going too far. I am a progressive Democrat. You want to talk about prison reform? I've done it as well as anybody, Republican Democrats in the South with Trump. I've done prison reform. I never said have no prisons. Where are you going to put the Klan?
You know what else he did with Trump? Cry over a goddamn pen. Who should I give this pen to? Van was like, me. Oh, me, please, Mr. President, me. Trump was like, here you go. Take it, little Negro boy. Just want to remind y'all who we're listening to.
I've done police reform. I never said no police. Where are you going to put the pedophiles? Who's going to grab the pedophiles? This stuff is going too far. And part of the thing that has to happen is we saw what happened in the Republican Party when things started going in a nutty direction and nobody stood up. I am happy that the young people are fighting for affordability, Medicare for all the good things. I've been waiting my whole life to see a youth movement do what it's doing. But it's being hijacked by people who are putting in nutty ideas, supporting terrorists, nutty ideas saying that we don't need cops in prison. We can't deport anybody, even if they rape somebody. Who said this? Chevalier. Where did Chevalier?
Chevalier is going to is the Democratic nominee. So sorry, DSA nominee for Congress now from the Bronx in New York.
I just want to say that there was a shockwave through this party when Mamdani, who everybody's excited about, stabbed in the back Espiat, who was the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, beloved by everybody, who backed Mamdani.
Oh, the dirty laundry is coming out here today. Family, I hope you got your popcorn. I hope you got you something good to drink because, family, the tea is being dished out today. Let's get them back in there.
Send in the clowns.
Mamdani said, I will back you. Then he turns around, stabs him in the back.
Bacc Chevalier.
And Bacc Chevalier, who has no credentials except she's known for having celebrated October 7th murders of Israelis on October 8th and never apologized. This sent a shockwave through the party. People said, hold on a second. Why, of all the people in New York City, would Mamdani pick this person to betray someone? And then no one says anything. Everybody's
Okay,
quiet.
so Gretchen,
I'm
let me
not
ask-
afraid to talk
but
about
this
it.
is why it's so
important for him to say it.
Now that seat, though, let's take the example that you gave. Okay, that specific seat that we're talking about is a Democratic seat. So you can put someone as far left as you want or moderate as you want. A Democrat's going to win. So I guess what I'm saying, Gretchen, is does this affect the midterms when you're looking at seats that are not like that?
Yeah.
Seats that are purple where your nominee is not somebody who said the things that Van just
No,
said.
because look at the movement that's been created. It's what the media is talking about. And it's not just in New York. We're talking about Michigan now. We're talking about Colorado. We're talking about a bunch of other states where this movement is going on. And I think it was so important that Van Jones said this, because quite honestly, you were thought of as way over on the left.
I am.
I know. I know.
I'm just not
And-
crazy.
and so it's very important for him, in my mind, to point out that this is a very dangerous, slippery slope. And from an independent point of view, where the majority of Americans are sitting, they're scared to death of this movement. They're not going to vote for it. And by the way, I've talked to a lot of Democrats over the last couple of weeks. They are begging people to get out in the primaries for the regular Democrat to vote.
Okay, but where do people like AOC, who is being talked about now frequently in presidential circles, who is very progressive, maybe even more progressive than you are, and has been in all of these circles, where does she land on this?
Well, look, I'll let her speak for herself. I haven't heard her coming out and supporting Hamas. Chevalier, Mamdani's pick, refused to denounce Hamas 4 times. It's a U.S. registered terrorist organization. I haven't heard AOC saying that if someone rapes someone and murders someone, they shouldn't be deported. That's Mamdani has picked a candidate that's her position.
So it wasn't just Bezos who sent you out there, huh? It was AIPAC. Okay, now it clicks. That's right. You were at one of those conferences crying over those people, right? Yeah, I remember that vividly. Now it all makes sense. It's not Jeff Bezos that put a battery in your back. It's AIPAC. All right, continue.
I want this party to get behind the good things that are coming up from the young people. These young people are fighting. They have no opportunities. They've been lied to. They took college debt. They need a change. They deserve a change.
You're talking about healthcare and
I'm talking about
affordability,
healthcare,
rent.
affordability, all these different positive things that they're doing. But if we can't say right from wrong, if we can't say good from bad, if we can't separate progressive ideas from regressive ideas, we're going down the same pathway that has pulled the Republican Party into an unrecognizable shell of itself. And I refuse to let that happen today.
And the other problem is, and we've talked about this on the primary election nights over the last couple of months, like 5,000 people vote in these primaries. And yet they dictate the outcome and the movement that we're now experiencing. And so you have to put that in perspective. But at the same time, you have to be very concerned about that. So if you, like, independents can't vote in primaries.
Yeah, we gotta
So
fix that.
in this case, it's up to Democrats to go out and get
Well,
to
the
the
concept
polls.
of an open primary would make a huge difference.
If they agree with
in the red and the blue, right? And in both extremes.
Fam, I want to play a couple of things these DSA people have been saying. This candidate here, Millet Kairos, Ethiopian born. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think it's particularly important, not just for our community in Tigray, but communities of the global South, period, right? There's a certain reckoning that we are going to have with the global world order as it exists today, and the way that it fundamentally will have to shift going forward, right? The responsibility that we have as Americans, the recognition that is going to be required of us, of the exploitative and extractive nature that we play on the global scale and the global stage, is only going to be challenged if we are getting represented by people who understand that on a fundamental level, right? And that means getting more immigrants into office. That means getting more people who have heritage in the global South into office, because who understand that on a fundamental level, right? And that means getting more immigrants into office to level, right? And that means getting more immigrants into office. It means getting more immigrants into office. It means getting more immigrants. It means getting more immigrants. It means getting more immigrants into office. That means getting more people who have heritage in the global South into office, because that's where those decisions are made specifically. I think it's particular.
Yeah, these folks are talking about getting more immigrants into office while we're sitting here saying we don't think any immigrants should be able to run for office or get into office or hold public office if you was not born here. And one of my family in the chat put by the third generation can't get into office until the third generation. And I'm for that too. My whole thing is this. These people are running around telling folks quite literally what they want to do and how they want to do it. And they're not being silent about it. They're trying to get more immigrants into your politics. More people from the global south into your politics. Let's go here.
Miami of the 1930s. I couldn't agree with you more. There is no question that the anti-fascism is also rising, and the fascists were on our shore back then. And what we're committed to now is fighting what? Socialists? I mean, the idea of having healthcare that everyone communist, can... socialist, very the same antithetical thing to the or they're American different? Are they same or they're different? Because I think socialism, TVA, where I'm from, East Tennessee, was built by socialism. The TVA was built by it. Oak Ridge was built by it. Factories were built by it. Alcoa Built was by it. socialism? America, absolutely. Government workers, 90% of the people that built those Having a dams, government is that not the built same those as having things. socialism. Well, so if it's not the government doing the work and the government building things for the people and then keeping ownership of it, if that's not what socialism is, then what is it? You tell me. If it's not direct employees building the... So you're saying any level of or any amount I'm of not. I think government your is people socialism. are. I think your guys are, actually. I don't.
We're not
you're
the ones
that
running on
label
it.
all this stuff.
You have a whole faction of your party called Democratic Socialists of America who are running on things well beyond basic government services. They're running on absolute and total radical anarchy that is antithetical to the American.
Let me ask you a point of clarification. Do you...
Family, these folks are trying to make excuses for the socialist type of mindset that they're trying to put onto the American people. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, you're not going to get foundationals off of no socialism. I don't support socialism. I don't support communism. Anybody who think that they should come here and create social programs for a bunch of people who are just getting here and the taxpayers are going to be paying for it, and they claim it's going to be from the ruling elites, they're going to force them to pay their fair share while these people are being paid by these very same people. You can kiss my black ass. And I'm going to let you know this right here and right now. I'm never going to support any type of socialist programs. Y'all going to have to pay up those reparations. You want Medicare for all? You're going to need to pay reparations. You want a universal labor wage? Pay those reparations. Universal housing? You're going to need to pay those reparations. You're not about to come and give everybody a freaking leg up when they just got into the damn country when we're owed a damn debt in this country. You got the game messed up. You're going to pay us what you owe us. And then you can go and do what you like. Because here's the thing. Once we're paid what we're owed, we're just going to continue to build our wealth. And if y'all want to destroy the rest of the country, foundational Black Americans, our America will be just fine. And y'all can do whatever you do with the rest of America. Just leave us out of it and leave us alone. But you're not about to come into this America thinking that you're going to get a bunch of people into office that's going to then turn their nose at our goddamn justice claim to create some sort of socialist utopia. You got the gang messed up. And just so y'all know, socialism don't work and it's never worked. So if it's not going to work in this country, y'all going to pay us out before y'all even get there. Shout out to our sister, Miss Zell, in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here, as well as Travis Daniels in the building. Shout out to you, and thank you for being here as well. Let's continue. I would like to go here next.
Democratic Socialists saying that the problem now is Black Democrats, that they too often hold up the establishment.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. The socialists are saying, who's the problem now?
Democratic Socialists saying that the problem now is Black Democrats. Democratic Socialists saying that the problem now is Black Democrats. Democratic Socialists saying that the problem now is Black Democrats. Democratic Socialists saying that the problem now is Black Democrats.
So the problem now is Black Democrats. Oh, wow. The socialists got bold with the blacks in the Democratic Party all of a sudden. Not only are Black Democrats being starved out of funding so that they can run their campaigns, but now they're being blamed for everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party. Oh, family, I told you the popcorn. Oh, the get your drinks, get the popcorn, because this tea is piping hot. It is piping hot.
That they too often hold up the establishment. They too often support capitalism. Now, Black Democrats, you're the enemy of socialism.
Yes, I have seen that, and the belief that these people uphold an imperialist system. And I think John Lewis would turn in his grave to hear people within the Democratic Party speak that way. It's incredibly insulting, I think, to Black voters to believe that just because they aren't voting the way that you choose, you want them to vote, that they are low information.
Not just that, my brother. Not just that. Whose pictures they are cycling through. It's not just a bunch of different Democrats. It is one Democrat, and they cycling through a bunch of different pictures of that one Democrat. Oh, this was written by the Most High's hand.
I have seen that, and the belief that these people uphold an imperialist system. And I think John Lewis would turn in his grave to hear people within the Democratic Party speak that way. It's incredibly insulting, I think, to Black voters to believe that just because they aren't voting the way that you choose, you want them to vote, that they are low information or they don't have all the facts. I think a lot of people see exactly what's in front of them, and they're not buying it.
I think the direct quote was, "You are," and I think in this case it's probably directly, in part directed at you, Yemisi. You are defanging the white socialists. You have defanged them, and for that we congratulate you. Good job, Yemisi. All right, thank you so much. Democratic Socialists.
Family, this whole situation with the DSA is looking like a gift horse, and I don't stare no gift horse in the mouth. No. All the Black Democrats that's been practicing benign neglect, now the spotlight's on you. You are being deprived of funding, so you can't run your campaigns. You're being blamed for the ailments of the Democratic Party because you keep holding up the imperialistic system. Oh, family, yeah. It's looking like, yeah. Look, there you go. Looking like a flashlight. It is shining, blinding. Oh, y'all. Oh, Democrats, Black Democrats, come to the front of the class. Come to the front of the class. To the young lady that says she has 4 degrees and she still can't understand how to get us engaged. Come to the front of the class. Come to the front of the class. You're all idiots. And that ABK is proven to you that everything that the Black grassroots has said and has said about the Democratic Party is absolute. No matter if you look high, no matter if you look low, if you look to the left, if you look to the right, foundational Black Americans are correct on all sides. These people hate Black Americans so much, they're throwing the tools that they had in the toolbox under the bus. They're breaking their tools, and those tools are still sitting in that party as we speak. So what did that say about those tools? And who should you and shouldn't listen to? I want to go here, family.
Well, this is pretty interesting. A New York City Black Democrat leader is criticizing the Democrat Socialists of America, the DSA, calls that group a bunch of white supremacists. Queens Borough President Don.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
So you can see white supremacy within the Democratic Party when it's DSA. But when it's the old guard, you didn't see any white supremacy under Joe Biden. You didn't see any white supremacy. You didn't see any white supremacy under President Obama, Bill Clinton. No white supremacy. Oh, all of a sudden, here comes the Democrat socialists, and all of a sudden, black folks understand white supremacy in the Democratic Party. Black folk can call out white supremacy in the Democratic Party. And you say, oh, shout out to our sister Brooke. You say that he endorsed Mandani? And now he's calling the group that Mandani belongs to a white supremacist group? Oh, man, you got to understand this is written by the Most High's hand. Jesus Christ, let's continue.
Evan Richards comparing New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's pals in the DSA to white supremacists. So think about that. He breaks this on social media. He says all white supremacy comes in all forms, and targeting this at the DSA.
It's very interesting. The comment originating from an online debate after a report in the New York Times highlighted how the extreme left wing of the Democrat Party focuses on furthering the group's agenda and largely has blinders on when it comes to Black and Latino members and issues important to them in the 5 boroughs. So Richards followed up with that post with another one quoting Malcolm X, comparing white conservatives to white.
Fuck him, goddammit, and fuck anybody with his ass. Yeah.
Don't sit here and use Malcolm X's quote about white liberals versus white conservatives when you've been sitting there quiet the whole time in the party while these liberals have been running run shot over us in our communities. Don't you dare bring up goddamn Malik El-Shabazz. How dare you?
Liberals. The quote stating white liberals are more dangerous. So joining us now to discuss, Janelle King is the host of the Janelle King Show, and April Chapman is Project 21 ambassador. Great to have you, ladies. I have to start with you first. April, I mean, what do you make of this assessment that the DS?
This woman right here is the same woman that had something to say about our good brother Melrose Mike when he went up there and checked those Democrats at the whole Non-Action Network festival. Apparently, and shout out to Kid Gravity, this woman ain't no political analyst or nothing like that. This chick started out doing goddamn relationship, goddamn videos and things like that, and saw that Can't Dance Owens got put out of the area, and now she's trying to grift her way into this area. This is what she's been waiting on. This is her opportunity. Let's hear what she has to say.
They're calling them white supremacists.
It is a joy to see the left demolish and eat itself. At the end of the day, if you examine the policies of the Democratic Socialists of America, none of the policies are geared toward lifting up any group. It's about everybody being at the bottom. So I would ask, on what basis is he saying that the Democratic Socialists of America are racist? Is it because there's no particular policy specific for Black people or specific for women, they keep forgetting that socialism is about the warmth of collectivism. You don't get to be special in the democratic socialist framework. And so the whole entire movement is going to implode on itself. And I'd be interested to see where this conversation leads. I'm just enjoying it from the sideline.
Yeah, well, Janelle, Christian and I were looking at some of the primary results and the the parties afterwards, and had commented a couple of times, wow, it's all like middle-aged white women. Yeah. I mean, just a
coming from an old age white woman, but okay, go ahead.
just an observation, but I hadn't really thought about it past that. Do you think that he's tapped into something?
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that is that's unseen or different or not the norm when it comes to the Democrat Party. And I'm always happy to be on the panel with April because I know she gets it just like me. The fact of the matter.
One coon tossing it to another coon. One coon tossing the layup to another coon. And what they're really saying is, Nabisco Zaddy, please bring us back. Please make us contributors to your white supremacist views. Please make us returning contributors. We would love to be on your network whenever you want us to be. We get it. We get it. Now, those other black folks, they don't get it. But we get it, Nabisco Zaddy. That's what this is.
Is what they see, particularly white liberal women that are older white liberal women, is that they're dealing with this whole white guilt. They're dealing with the bleeding heart syndrome, and it's all coming from narratives. The fact of the matter is racism and white supremacy and the claim of racism is extremely profitable, and it's easier to compete when you are tilting the playing field a little bit or getting a crutch in order to assist you while everyone else is competing like normal. The fact of the matter is when you have these threats of racism and when you decide that we're no longer going to push this, we're no longer going to make this the narrative, a lot's going to happen. The ambulance chasers who make money off of chasing down these ambulances are going to go away. Minority contracts that are only given to minorities will go away. National funding will cease. So it's profitable and they see it, they're using it, and they're doing it on the backs of minorities, and it's just absurd.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lydia Madison, absolutely blind and excuse me. Oh, I was about to sneeze something vicious. Blind imitation, blind obedience, neither is right. And you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And yes, I see it in the chat. Let's get it in once again.
Send in the clowns.
Now I want to go here to Michigan Democrat Hillary Shelton, who refused to support Abdul Said El Said because he campaigns with Hassan Piker. And I want y'all to hear, because this is hilarious, how she puts it. And she makes sure to put it 4 or 5 times the same way.
Choosing to campaign with Hassan Piker, who said America deserved September 11. Sure, he went on to disavow those comments, but I'm telling you, nobody on my team would ever, come even close to making a comment like that.
So will you not back him if he wins the primary? Will you not support him?
Jake, I think that it's really important to make a clear distance from yourself and these comments, and that's exactly what I've been doing, in this race. I will not even come close to being associated with comments like America deserved September 11.
Well, he would say, Dr. Syed would say, well, I didn't say that, and I don't think that Hassan Piker said it, and I don't agree with everything everybody I campaign with says.
But here's the critical point on that, Jake, is that he might say that, right? And sure, I give him credit for disavowing it after the fact. But the reality is he also didn't have to choose to campaign with Hassan Piker. To me, that's a non-starter. Saying something like America deserved September 11.
So, family, that's what's happening right now within the Democratic Party. There's a lot of infighting in the Democratic and Republican Party. But Vanessa was asked a question. Vanessa was asked, what does he think AOC have to say about some of these comments that these DSA members have been making? And Van Jones said, I'll leave that to her. Well, this is what she had to say. While being asked about her DSA members and the fact that they openly said that some of them are communist, this was AOC's response.
I think these folks call everyone they don't like a communist. I think that America is a free country. They're out here palling around with whoever they want to pal around with. So what? People can do what they want. I'm not here to be the belief police around here.
But isn't there concern that, this slippery slope towards socialism inevitably ends up as full-blown communism? I mean, no.
I'm not concerned about America turning into a communist country in like a year. That is like, I think that is, oh, sorry, guys. I think that's, I think it's very silly. I think you just think about how impossible it has been to raise the minimum wage in America in 10, 15, 20 years. We can't even raise the minimum wage. Do Republicans really think that this stuff is going to happen? No, they don't. They're trying to scare people because they don't want us talking about the fact that we all have a right to healthcare in this country. So they want to call it communist, and they want to call everything they don't like communist, because if people actually wake up to the fact that their elected officials are screwing them over when they get here, then they're going to realize that they deserve better, and that healthcare as a right isn't crazy. It isn't pie in the sky. They want to call this stuff communist because they don't want us to realize that the rest of the developed world has guaranteed healthcare in this country. So they want to call it communist because they don't want you to know that Germany, Italy, the UK, Canada, everybody else has it better than us, and we spend the most amount of money for the worst care in the modern developed world.
But Democrats repeatedly say the moment they regain power, they will pack the Supreme Court.
I'm trying to keep y'all safe here today.
As I was saying, the Democrats have repeatedly said the moment they regain power, they're going to pack the Supreme Court. Isn't that exactly how communism starts? I mean, that's what happened in Venezuela, and that's the plan for you guys too, right?
I mean, you should look at Mitch McConnell stealing Supreme Court seats from President Obama. You should look at this White House having very troubling financial entanglements. When you look at Brett Kavanaugh, you look at Samuel Alito, they're all taking private jets with billionaires, cutting private deals with them, ruling in their favor, acting as partisans. The fire is coming from inside the alarm is calling, the call is coming from inside the house over there. And you've got a bunch of folks that are doing things that should be illegal, if not already. I mean, frankly, several people in the court should probably be impeached by now. So I think that what we should actually do is consider some of the common sense solutions. There should probably be at least one judge for each circuit court in the United States. So that would be about, 13 or so? That's how it originally started. We have 9 because we had 9 circuit courts. And then as we grew those circuit courts, if I'm not mistaken, we never accommodated the court size. That doesn't sound crazy to me. There are probably other proposals like, maybe Supreme Court justices shouldn't be financially entangled and taking private jets and with billionaires and sitting in their resorts. And yeah, they want to call that communism because these folks want to keep feeding from the trough.
And what do you say to Americans who see you guys out there, quote unquote, fighting the oligarchy, yet arriving to all of these big events in private jets?
I mean, is there a single billionaire involved in this situation? I don't think so.
Then who does the jets belong to, Alexandria? Who does the $1 billion jets belong to, if not billionaires? This is the weird crap that these people try to say to you. And she made all of these assertions, right? And she was doing it to protect her beloved DSA. Why? Well, family, as of today, it is shown that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is leading in the presidential polls. Number 2 is Pete Buttigieg. But they are both beating Kamala Harris. And she was asked about it, and this is what she had to say.
I feel very, humbled by the support of everyday people. I think that, polls go up, polls go down. That's kind of part of how all of this works.
Why do you think yours are going up right now?
You'd have to ask folks in New Hampshire.
But does that change how you think about your future?
I think when I make decisions about my life, they aren't just rooted in polls. They're rooted in what people need, what is best for the country, and what is appropriate for the moment. And I think that right now, the most important thing before the country right now is for Democrats to win the midterm elections.
All right. So that's what
I feel very
that's what she had to say, but I also got to show you something else she had to say. And a lot of you feel the same way that I feel in this place. You know, they run her, they definitely are going to lose. 100% fold, they're going to lose. However, let me go ahead and play this for you here because they think that this is a good option.
We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind.
Going to carry us forward, and the road ahead won't be easy. It will require perseverance and hard work. But in times of uncertainty, Scripture reminds us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. We cannot afford.
I played that a lot. I did. And I played the comparison. I did. And then I played this again. I did. I had to. These folks are not content with just sounding like you. Politically, they really want to sound like you. We can't afford to keep Tennessee behind. You better thank the union member. These folks, shout out to our good brother Wild Williams in the building, as well as Sean in the building. Shout out to the both of you, as well as Christian Wright in the building. Much love to all of you. Yeah, exactly, Christian. You better thank a union member. This is the type of politics that they get when they come down to you. Everybody else is getting policy. Hell, there's a portion of her party pushing her because they want to push policies for everybody damn else. But when it gets down to you in your neck of the woods, you get this.
To leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. We cannot.
Just because I'm Latino doesn't mean I'm black. Sure seems like you're trying your hardest to be black now, don't it? Family, I got a few more things to show you before we get up out of here. Just a few more. Let's start with Sunny. Apparently, she's found her voice again.
It's less about AOC and more about the platform that a lot of people are
encouraged by. Her key issues are Medicare for all, housing as a human right, justice for workers and small businesses, elevate public education, women's rights, support the LGBTQIA community. I think those are things most people can get behind, and I think that's what's driving a lot of this talk about her. But let's face it, we need to talk about the midterms. That's what we should be focused on.
Well,
and
that's her point.
That's
Yeah,
her point.
that's her point.
We've got to get this country back on track, man. I mean, Democrats need a net gain of just 4 seats to flip control of the Senate, and that's what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at 2028 at this point. I think it's less about AOC.
They're saying the same thing. I think we need to concentrate on the midterms. We just got to concentrate on the midterms. Won't you think about the midterms? Somebody, please think about the midterms. They already know that they want to run AOC. These old guard folk are trying to convince the socialists, the Democratic Socialists of America, to get on board with them as of right now and worry about the rest later. And what the Democrat Socialists of America is saying is, hell no. We're going to go at it right here and right now. And if we both lose, we both going to lose. Interesting. Shout out to our sister Aquarius Minded. She said, wait, so the country was on track with the Democrats in office? And to that, I will replay this.
Who feel that there are a lot of people who feel that the Democratic Party is out of touch. We can't be honest about what's going on, with immigration. We don't have a plan for immigration. We're not able to say what actually Democrats should do to fix the problem. All we are is opposition to Trump. Under Biden, we said inflation is not really a big deal. It's transitory. It's going to go away. And then the whole party said, hey, don't worry. Everything's great. Joe is awesome. He can run for re-election. So the point is, we have this history of kind of just like washing over problems and not addressing real concerns that voters have. We got to make sure we don't do that.
Okay,
in
but
Arizona.
we've got to make sure. Do you think you're doing that now? Because look no further than a state just north of you, Maine, where I kind of feel like that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's honest. I mean, to be honest, it's a problem. It's still a problem. There are a lot of people in America.
Right?
So, family, in closing, let me go ahead and play this clip because it's not just the Democrats who are in trouble. It's their funding source. Act Blue has been put back on the radar. And I want to show you this here. Let's go here.
Waffle?
Yeah.
It says here that you've donated $150,000 in the last 5 years to various campaigns, and that you've made nearly 15,000 donations.
I doubt it.
You want to see it?
15,000, yeah.
15,000 separate donations on the computer. Did you make 15,000 donations in 5 years? $150,000?
150? Hell no. I don't have that kind of money.
Do you have internet?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Do you have a computer?
No,
No? So how could you make all these donations?
I don't know. Are these all mine?
Yes, this is, now, there's 900 pages. I ran out of paper to print it on.
Your board chairman said Act Blue accepted up to 38 million contributions in 2024 that had the signs of foreign origin. How much fraud is too much fraud?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How many foreign contributions did Act Blue accept?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How much money did Act Blue accept from Russia?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Why did your entire legal team quit? Your in-house legal team?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Did your legal team quit because of reduced fraud standards?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Understand. And we won't keep you here all day, but let me just do one more. Did you weaken your fraud standards to help Democrats?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the good work you and your committee are doing.
I don't know if you saw the New York Times is saying the Democrats were taking millions of dollars in foreign donations and may have been lying about it. Are you looking into this?
I can tell you that that is a priority of this administration and this Department of Justice, and it's something that a lot of people have been very worried about for a very long time, and you should rest assured that it includes the Department of Justice and it includes me.
All right.
So that's what's going on, family. That's what's going on. Let me go ahead and get to the rest of the super chats, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Let me give a B1 salute and shalom. To Tethers Dookie outside, much love to you for your gifts both times. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contributions as always, family. Oh geez, that's hilarious. I love that. Tethers Dookie outside. Shout out to Tobias Yuda. I'm sitting here, got me stuttering off of that. Shout out to Tobias Yuda. Much love to you, my warrior brother. And thank you for your contribution as well. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Thanks for all the hard work. Much love, family, all dang day. Much appreciations for your appreciations. And shout out to Crystal Watson. Much love to you, my sister. And thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, family. Family, let me just say this. All these folks are losing, and they just ain't willing to admit it. The Democrats are heavily losing because they can't figure out how to replace what they lost, which is us. And no type of amount of stuff like this. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me pull this up. In closing, I want to make sure people understand that we are not, and I repeat, we are not having it. What the hell? Give me 1 second, family. Something just... There we go. What is going on? Oh, they trying their hardest to just mess with me, huh? All right, well, I got to do it this way then. No amount of this is going to bring us back to the plantation. And if you think that it is, yeah, you're sadly mistaken.
It's the first shot.
You know what's happened.
We'll edit it out and
it's happened.
shoot another one.
I ain't even gonna pretend like it hasn't happened. It's happened. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You got a little bop with it.
There it is. Yeah. There it is. I got a question, though, because I've met Magic Johnson has this...
Here's a question, family. Why whenever Obama get around a bunch of black people, it's some old coonish shit like playing basketball? Why aren't you coming to us? If you're not playing basketball, this man is wagging his finger. Why aren't you coming at us like somebody who you actually want their vote? Obama, the way he thinks is, let me go down here and shoot a couple of hoops with these guys, and they're just going to fall to the wayside. Ain't no more of this. Shout out to Black Alpha for putting this clip out. Ain't no more of this. Before we get up out of here, this was requested by the family. So I'm going to play it one more time. I don't want to say one last time because I'm sure I'll play it many more times. But I'm going to play this. here today before we get up out of here in closing. And I will see you all for Sunday service. We were supposed to talk about TPS today. We didn't do it, but we will for Sunday service. Let's go here, family. Enjoy the rest of your FBA Friday. Let's go here. Yeah, family. The tether two-step will always, you know what I'm saying, make me feel a lot better. You know what I mean? These musty muscreants. Oh, family. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like, share, and hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get that message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, family. I want you all to know exactly how much power you've been wielding as of lately. And that's why I did this broadcast here today. That's why I highlighted the issues within the Democratic Party, the split in between the Democratic Party and the split in between the Republican Party. And both parties, all they have to do is do something for foundationals, and they're refusing to do so. So since they're refusing to do so, let me make sure that they understand that we know what's going on. We are well informed when it comes down to what the hell is going on. And I also want you all to know that the more and more these folks continue to lose, the more and more these folks will crash out. And trust me when I say, family, it's going to be funnier and funnier and funnier every damn time. Shout out to our sister Mia Kim. Thank you for being here, my warrior sister. And thank you for this comment. May our ancestors get their lick back 100 times fold. And I'll add on 1,000,000 times on top of that 100 times. So 100 times 1,000,000 fold. Shout out to each and every one of you. Much love. I will see you in our good brother Black Alpha space. And one more time before we get out of here. With that being said, stay safe, stay black, and most importantly, stay foundational. Enjoy the rest of your FBA Friday. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you to all my Moz members and everybody who donated, whether by Cash App, Super Chat, or anywhere else. With that being said, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm off.